to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick DelGozzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnona. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, fam. Another edition of Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. We're all still live from our own Real Talk studios. You know, I don't know if everybody would have made the drive today under the circumstances, so I guess we're all still glad we're up from our own Real Talk studios and not here.
I wouldn't have.
That's the guy I was looking at. But we're all here on this Sunday, and we got a lot to talk about. But every Sunday we're brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Tom Arnona, Nick DelGozzo, Greg Milakovic, Brian Wilson, the family out there joining us. In no way, shape, or form did I expect to come on here in a loss. Really felt good about a win this week. If you would have told me a tie, I would have slapped you in the face. And that's where we're at. We'll have Crumb of the Week later on in the show. Philly's season ends. I mean, you want to talk about just brutal in Philadelphia. I mean, put on a silver platter, just win one. Just win one. You know what I mean? Just win one. You got Wheeler, Noel on the mound. Just win one. Phillies can't even come up and win one game throughout a 3-game series. That's how pathetic their little 60-game run was. And instead of putting us through pain in 162, I'm glad it just got over in 64 with it. And we can fire Matt Klintak and move on. We'll get into Phillies later on in the show. Around the NFL Week 3, obviously our division stinks. We'll see what the Cowboys do here against Seattle. We'll give you some live reaction on that. Our main topic is Eagles tie the Bengals. Not win, not lose. And did he just catch that? Did Michael Gallup just catch that? All for 5 people. That's fun. So the misery continues, but not a win, not a loss, a tie against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Heard that before.
Make an argument if everybody loses, like the Cowboys, he actually is the best football you played because you didn't lose, and you gain a half a game. That's really glass half full, people. Tonight, I don't expect to be anywhere glass half full. If you got a sip in your drink, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud if you got a sip. I think you're a real optimist. If you have a sip, a little drip, one little sip left in your cup tonight, you're a big-time optimist. I've sat here defended Carson Wentz. We all have ad nauseum. Most of us defended Doug Pederson ad nauseum besides Greg. None of us defend Howie Roseman. That's been well put out there. But let's get into our poll question. Brought to you by Ambuck Services, AMBUCK Services.com. Telling the boys from A2D Radio sent you 20% off. Doug Pederson should have attempted the 64-yard field goal. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. That's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcast, you can find us there as well. Like, subscribe, follow. Let's try to talk about it. Should have. Is that even? Let's just rewind to when Howie Roseman gave Jake Elliott an extension. Okay, let's just rewind to when you give kickers extensions. Right? if you're giving a kicker an extension, he's got a leg from 64. Got a leg from 64. I'm not saying he's going to make 64. I'm just telling you that they got the leg for 64. If I just gave him an extension, then you better have a leg from 64. Now, you can say, well, Tom, the chances of him making that are slim. I know. I get it. Right? But
yeah, I know. But that's
you don't play games for a tie.
That's not the argument. Yeah,
so you either
with 19 seconds, that's not the argument.
No, you either cough the game up and give it to them, or you go for the win. It's one or two. You don't punt it away and play for the tie. I know it's it shouldn't be easier us at home to say that. You know, oh, a tie's better than a loss. Yeah, we all get that. We all get that here, okay? But as a coach, it's like kissing your sister, they always say. What do you want to tie as a player?
I don't know that a tie is better than a loss.
So I go, this is the guy with the biggest brass that I've defended here in the city of Philadelphia ever, okay? And his brass, right? I would have rather came on after Elliott being 10 yards short on the kick, right? And people blasting Doug than play for a damn tie, okay? Because we talked about a guy who's always built the confidence of his players and his football team. So if you don't make it, our defense will come out, we'll get a quick stop, we'll get a sack, and it's over, right? And we tie anyway, right? Right? He's always played to say, all right, well, they'll go make a play on all the 4th and 1s, right? The 4th and 2s. Well, if we don't get it, my argument was, well, you have confidence in your defense, come get a stop. Right? So he's always played that way. Never a guy who's played for a tie. So is bravado worn out? You know, I don't know. I don't know. 0-2-1 smells like the bravado ain't in the room anymore, right? Smells like the ice cream isn't tasting as good because that's not the coach I defended here since the hire. That's not the guy I'm going to sit back and defend. And his quarterback's the same guy I'm not going to defend either. We'll get into him in a little bit. All right? Looks scared to make every throw. Looks nervous at times to make throws. Concerning. But Doug, absolutely you kick that. You attempt it. You attempt it. You put confidence in your kicker. You put confidence if you don't get in your defense to go make a stop. And you put confidence in your whole football team. You don't make it, go get a stop, you tie anyway with 19 seconds. So what? So what? You attempt it.
I disagree though, Tom, with that. Because I don't kick it, I fucking go for it.
On
Throw
4th
the
and
pass, get out of bounds. I don't think he makes it from 64. I don't think he does.
It's 4th and a mile.
It's 4th and 12.
No, it wasn't. It was after
the
the
5-yard penalty.
No, it was a 10. Holding.
No, it was false start. It was only a
false start. Yeah, but it was 4th and 12 before that. It was 4th and 12 before that.
No, it was 4th and 7. 4th and 12. You fucking go for it.
Yeah. Then they took another delay game.
Well, you don't take the delay game. You fucking go for it.
Yeah, well, 4th and 12 still. I mean, then you either kick it or go for it then. One of the two. Okay. Kick it or go.
You definitely don't fucking punt it. That's for sure. I don't care what you do. You don't punt because that's sissy, gutless shit. To me, you can't be a leader of men if you're a sissy coward. And I don't even know how I can trust him anymore. I can't trust him. I might be out.
I mean, yeah, that's the last thing on the menu.
I might be out.
Like if you're looking at like these guys, like I said, everybody in NFL is copycat, and they all come from the all these trees, and everybody tells them what to do, and they look this way, they're robotic, you know what I mean? But that's still got to be at the bottom of the freaking list. Punting with 19 seconds left, or you know what I mean? Like, are you out of your mind? You got a better shot at taking a PI. You can get a PI if you go for it, right? And that's just saying that you don't want to kick it, all right? So I'm not saying he's going to make it, but at least you showed your team that you give a shot. When you punt, you give up, all right? A 2-0 team, maybe you play for a tie and you say, all right, we're just happy to get out of here, you know what I mean? But with still that time left, with that amount of time left, you're not playing against Greg Zuerlein or Adam Vinatieri. You know, you're playing against Randy Bullock. I mean, they still had to get like another 30 yards, maybe, and then that guy's still not carrying. He's still not
with no timeouts.
Yeah, I mean,
no timeouts and 19 seconds. And at that point, who cares? I'd rather lose than tie. I don't care. Stop telling me, oh, we might get in because of the tie. Fuck you. I don't fucking care. That's loser mentality. That's fucking loser mentality.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying.
Losers.
No, you got to get, first of all, in this league, you got to get wins anywhere you can get them. That's number one. You got to get wins anywhere you can get them. And if you're looking at this football team and you're with anything other than green glasses and saying that they got a shot, you're crazy. You're crazy. All right. Now you understand as a fan, you don't have to jump out of nobody's saying you got to jump out of the boat. You know what I mean? But you got to try. If you didn't get a win today, where are you going to get them? I understand, like I said, it's a national football thing. Things happen, right? But, you're going to fly cross country next week against a banged up team. I don't know who's going to come back for them, but you're going to grab that one. You're going to go into Pittsburgh, and you can't even you can barely move the ball, against the Bengals. I mean, they ran the ball well, right? Rightfully so. They should have against the 32nd ranked rushing defense, and really 65 of that is Carson. Glad to see him using his legs for once, you know what I mean? But, 95 and 65, so 160 between two guys. It wasn't like, You know what I mean? But still, they did what they were supposed to in that sense. You know what I mean? But like, if you think you're just going to go grab these other wins, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was one thing if you were competitive for the first 2 weeks or something, and and then you were like, all right, well, we just need a break here or there, and then things will turn around for us. You know what I mean? But that's not the case. This has been 3 brutal weeks, and if you see it any other way, then I got news for you. You really are a homer. All right, that's all. I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I said tonight. There's going to be the people out there that are going to try to have a sip of water in their glass and say that that because of the tie, you're still in it because the division's terrible. And if you want to look at it like that, then be my guest. I look at a quarterback that isn't confident with anything he does on the football field besides a few runs today and one ball. Is not comfortable in the pocket, isn't decisive with the football, all right, and is nervous to make throws. And that's not what you want out of anybody. We talking about a quarterback, you talk about a pitcher, you're scared to make a pitch, you're scared to throw the football and let it rip, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. And I don't like the fact that's the case right now. Like, I can't believe after all this time that we're having a conversation of a guy who's in year 5 that doesn't look comfortable in the pocket, isn't decisive with his decision making. And the only time he did is when he ran the football. And you can tell me A, B, C, and D. Like I was telling you, okay, you don't have a number 1 wide out, blah, blah, blah. That's against everybody but the Bengals. Okay? Like you're playing the Cincinnati Bengals, right? And you're struggling with accuracy issues again. So sometimes the eyes just come in too. Like you're just struggling with accuracy issues. The ball to earth, that's got to be thrown on the outside. You're too smart to throw that ball on the inside there, right? Okay, the tip, all right, well, you're still throwing it in double coverage right there. It's still not a good decision. Okay, you look at other balls thrown throughout the night. There was one later on in the game, the Hightower. It was thrown in the ground 5 yards short of him. And if you throw a good ball there, who knows how far he goes for if he catches it? You know what I mean? Who knows? So in the ball to Miles Sanders, like on real time, it looked like Sanders slowed up a little bit, but still that ball needs to have some more loft on it. You know what I mean? Like your deep ball's got to have a little bit more loft on it. It can't be fired. Deep, right? I just feel like nothing's comfortable. Nothing's comfortable. It's like he's stiff. Every throw's stiff. You feel that? You feel that when you're watching it? Like that. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not trying to crush the guy, but I mean, when I sat here and defended him for so long, I got to come on and be honest about my assessment of him. Can he play better? He better, because if he plays like this week in, week out, it's hard to defend. It's hard to defend not sitting him. And as much as we're like, oh, we don't want, this isn't Jalen Hurts' job. Listen, if he plays like this again next week, and it just looks off again, and he's off, and he's turning the football over, I can't sit here and tell you that you don't put him down for a game. You let him breathe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. You can do a game, Tommy. I think once you put him down, it's down. It's done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when that time comes unless he turns it around. That's my point.
No, and I think you do work more into the game, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, to your point, though, he's not playing well. So maybe we get a few more than 2 plays, right? Instead of sitting him down, maybe he gets a series or a bigger package. But yeah, I mean, I think you sit him down. That's waving the white flag.
Maybe the threat of him attempting a pass instead of everyone knowing he's going to run when he's in.
But I disagree with that. I know what both of you are saying, and I get it because it doesn't happen like that in the NFL. Because whether it's a diva position or guys are just too mentally fragile that they can't take it. But there's nothing wrong with a substitution. Hey, man, you saw it today. I don't even want to bring it up, right? But you saw it today in the fucking Bears game. Sometimes you got to make moves as a coach, right? And you got to do things, right? So very well, hey, you didn't have it today. Right, obviously he hasn't had it for 3 weeks, right? But so I know what you're saying. Right? You feel like, you sit him down and you're gonna totally wreck him. Well, he's got zero confidence to begin with, so you might as well shake the tree and see what happens. You know what I mean? But I understand what both of you are saying, but I don't think to me that's just once again that's another pussy mentality. It's like, hey, if you're not good enough, right, then let somebody else try to take it. Right, and then you'll get your opportunity to get back. You know what I mean? Like I'll hand you the playbook back. All right, but now it's time to whoever that is. And I understand the controversy and like what Wills and Greg are saying because of where he was drafted. And if you go to him now, then that's and he does play well, then the roof can cave in, right? But the roof's already caved in. I got news for you. So, if you're a
We
fan,
got a bad leak at least.
if you're a fan or you're somebody in that organization, I mean, you got to do it. You got to do whatever you can. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying we're calling for it, but he's obviously got to be better. And like Tom said, it just doesn't look right. That's obvious. I mean, you don't need glasses to see that, but you can see there's the confidence, no swagger. Like even whether it's his trust in his guys or himself, like even on the TD run, I think he had Hightower wide open. He just can't, he just put it down and ran. You know what I mean? So obviously he made a play and scored. So you're not going to kill him for it. But I mean, he had a guy open there too. So
what sucks is that could have been a huge drive for him, for his confidence and for this football team, and then we fuck it up by tying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were hoping that would be the case. You go on a game time drive, and you have an opportunity to sort of like save your season per se, and go to a locker room and win, and guys start to buy into him a little bit more. He buys into himself a little bit more, but the opposite. A loss to me is just as bad as a tie. So I mean, to me, it's just as bad. They're the same level, if not worse. And the way this went down, it's almost worse. Because again, it's bad.
It's worse.
It's bad coaching even before that. It was bad coaching before that in overtime. All right, I got a 2nd and 6, I think it was, right, already in field goal range in Elliott's length, distance per se, right? So already there. So right there, 32nd ranked defense. I'm just putting one in somebody's belly and living the play 3rd down, right, and saying, okay, I'm either going to get like a 3rd and 3, something manageable, something easy. Instead, right, I get a holding penalty on actually a great run by Carson that would have, air quotes, sealed the deal of this football game, and it gets brought back 10 yards. So it just changes the whole game. And you wonder if you run the football there, like I was yelling run right there, because you're already in field goal range. Now, and I'm not saying you're playing for the field goal, but you're getting yourself more in a manageable 3rd down. And not the 2nd and 6 is, but it is for this football team. So it is for his football team. So, I mean, I'm trying to get myself in a 3rd and 3, a 3rd and 2, or not gash him for a 10-yarder. Right. And it just, again, everything just came back and everything been biting us in the ass. You get a holding call there, right? You're about to attempt a field goal to possibly win the game, and you get a false start. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
That can't happen.
Yeah, and I thought the D-line, we talked about D-line played good today. We'll get to back to the poll in 1 second here, but D-line played good today. And, our defense played pretty good, and especially at the end. But, again, no turnovers again. I mean, we just can't take a football away. And so
8 sacks. Can we knock a ball out of his hand? Knock a ball out of the rookie's hand one time? Fuck.
Yeah.
But back to the poll, Doug Pederson should have attempted the 64-yard field goal. Agree or disagree? I don't know if there's anybody that's going to say disagree. I've seen a few people saying that, scrolling earlier, not in here, but that they would have, people don't understand. People don't understand. No, everybody understands. You know what I mean? We're trying to win a football.
We understand.
Yeah, we're not trying to go.
And the one thing Doug's always said too about these situations, whether to go for 2 or whatever, it's the analytics, right? It's the analytics, it's the numbers, right? So you're telling me you missing a field goal with 15 seconds left, right after that 3 or 4 seconds comes off, no timeouts, they have to get 20, 30 yards just to get in their range. That percentage of analytics was more than you kicking the field goal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. That means you have no confidence in your defense as well.
And once again, then you deserve to lose. You take your shot at the win, right? You take your shot at the win, and then you come back, and then, like I said, if you don't get it and he misses it, then you're sitting back, and then you're relying on your defense to make one play. And then they still have, even if they do complete the ball in the middle of the field, they got to somehow come up there and spike it. Good luck with that. But even if they, I don't know how they would even hit a sideline pass, because you would be taking that away. But I digress. I mean, so
you you take away the first down yard too, like you take away that one.
Throw a 13-yard pass and spike it with 1 second left.
I mean, don't sit here and tell us, like I said, I don't know who that is, but whoever that is, like, don't sit here and talk to us like we're fucking children. You understand? Like, we don't understand. We fucking understand. You understand? Herman Edwards said it a long time ago. You play to win the games. You know, right? You understand?
Absolutely.
Right? That's the bottom line. Okay? Yeah. Especially when you're 0-2. Like I said, time and score, right? Time, like, if there's 2 minutes on the clock, absolutely, dude. That's there's a reason for that, you know what I mean? 19 seconds, you go for it. All right, you go, you show your team that you got confidence in them, that you're not you're not playing scared, you're not coaching scared, and you give it your best chance. All right, punting the others. You gave up. All right,
punting should never even come into your mind. It's like you said, it's you kick it or you go for it. It's never. It could be 4th and 40, I wouldn't punt.
And if you look at the final drive where we tied the game in regulation, a lot of that drive was aided by 2 pass interference calls. So it's not like we had a great drive to get down there. Well, we ended well, right? Obviously, Carson rolled out and jumped in, but a lot of that chunk of yardage was pass interference. So you don't give yourself that chance, Will. I know that was your point, Will, right? Take the chance of the pass interference. This is today's NFL. There's almost pass interference called almost every play. Like, I don't know where you don't take the chance.
With 19 seconds, though, Greg, I mean, and sweeps, I feel like you can throw a 13-yard pass over the middle, get down and spike it, right? I feel like you can.
Sorry, they just flashed the Falcons' winning percentage of what it should have been the last 3 weeks. Week 1 was 60%, 98%, 99% today.
I mean, with
Dan Quinn shouldn't even be allowed on the plane home.
I don't know if they would, like I hear, I know
that's enough time though. And theoretically, that's enough time to throw a pass across the middle for 13 yards, get down and spike it, and then try a field goal.
Listen, Brinks.
Go ahead, Brinks. I mean, go ahead, Brinks. Enlighten us.
Please
oh my God, that's a loser mentality. You fucking nerd.
Same guy that's always bitching.
Loser mentality.
So now you gained a half a game. Yeah, lottie fucking da. Right? Fucking team. You play. First of all, you play to win. Second of all, you try to, you should be in it every year to win the Super Bowl, not just to fucking win this shit division that it always is. All right. And then just fucking get the playoffs so everybody can hold hands and say, yeah, we made the fucking playoffs. Right? You fucking play to try to win the Super Bowl. Right? Fuck.
Yeah, Brinks, I don't understand. You're always a guy who's always negative. If you're going to be positive on that situation, I don't understand why you'd be positive in any situation where you're punting the football. I just don't understand. Like you're just playing for the tie. Then you're okay with that. I'd rather just lose the game. Then
anyone that's okay with playing for the tie, stop watching sports.
Yeah, you don't get it.
That's all I gotta tell you. That's all I gotta tell you.
On the 4th and 12, fine. You know what I mean? You don't get it on the 4th and 12, going for it, fine. You don't make the field goal, fine. All right.
I can live with that. How do you live with a tie? I can't do it. I don't even know the players. How can the players live knowing their coach said, nah, we'll just tie? How do you live with that?
You got to go.
How do you live with that? Have you ever played sports?
Absolutely. You got to go back in that. You got to go back in that locker room. You understand? So
how do you live with that?
I don't know how many sports he played, Rob. I'm not asking for your resume, right? But he's got to go back in that locker room and give a fucking speech and say, "Let's go get him." All right? Ice cream off tomorrow. See you Wednesday. Flight on Friday. Whatever it is. Let's see if we can go beat the Niners and get back in this. Yippee! Great fucking speech. After these guys are looking at you, a locker room full of guys saying, "Fuck, are we kidding?
We just gave up.
We're okay with it."
Joke. Yeah. It's a fucking joke, Sweeps. Yeah. It's a joke.
They wonder why this fucking city, everything happens in this fucking city. And then it's just fucking bitch shitty, bitch there, instead of fucking, I don't know, it's fucking brutal.
Listen, all I'm going to say is this is a guy that's has always been the aggressive guy, and I think when you stop being aggressive, you're coaching scared. And if you're coaching scared, I don't know if you can coach at this level anymore. That's my biggest thing. I can't believe I'm saying that after all this time. But if you're now coaching scared in some fashion and you lose your mojo, I don't know. That's either telling me you lost a locker room, something's off. Because it's the opposite of what he's known to do. I don't know. Did he pull a Donovan and think there was another OT? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like what?
I'd take that over punting. I would take that. If he said, "Oh shit, I didn't realize we could tie," and we were like, "You could have went back to Donovan 12 years ago and found that out," but I would have accepted it.
Same game too. Same team.
Yep. Can you make that
I think
up?
it was 13-all. Just 10 more this time.
That team somehow made the playoffs that year,
Might
too.
have been 16 all. I forget what it was.
I think that Eagles team made the playoffs that year,
Yeah,
too.
by that half.
By that tie. Yep.
That's probably what he was thinking about. Fucking unreal.
Yep. He was thinking, he absolutely was thinking a tie because they're all analytical. They're all analytical nerds in a way.
Yep.
Even Doug, Mr. Football, is still analytical. So, somebody got somebody got in here and said, Doug, you got to punt this. Why? Because if everybody loses, you gain a half a game. What?
Once again, if you're 2-0 or 1-1, let's just say,
if we go 8-7-1,
not when you're fucking 0-2, and not anytime. I don't really give a shit. Nobody will sit here and convince me, so I don't really give a shit, right? If fucking Newt Rockney was, we had him on a fucking show. If Newt Rockney came on and said, "Hey man, mind if I jump on your podcast?" All right, and I'd say, Newt, I don't give a fuck shit. Okay, I don't give a fuck.
I'd say, Newt, how did you know about a podcast? Then yeah,
all right, I don't give a flying fuck. But if you're 2-0, 1-1, then maybe. Not when you're at 0-2 and you're leaking oil big time and you're fucking stink. I mean, what are you playing for? I mean, come on.
Yeah. If you're 2-0 and you're just trying to say, all right, whatever, we don't want a loss. We don't want a loss. Okay. Maybe you come out and say that and say all right, we just didn't want to lose a game. And you go back in your locker room and say, hey, we got out of here. This is the worst football we played all year. Blah, blah, blah. We're off to San Fran. Right, because you're 2-0. You're 2-0 already to that point. I still kick it or go for it, but
DK,
I'm just agreeing with that side of it, right? That okay, and then the us the fans, we're still having a shitty week, but we're like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Lose, and then we're like, then we can have some. Then we can have a glass half full on it in a way and be like, well, it's better than a loss, right? Then you come out and say that. But when you're 0-2 and you're playing terrible, you're playing absolutely terrible football. Yeah. On both sides of the football at different times are playing terrible football. The offense has been atrocious. I can't believe it's an NFL offense. It's atrocious, right? Absolutely atrocious, and it starts with your quarterback. At the end of the day, it starts with your quarterback. And I thought he would get a little bit more of a rhythm this week. I thought it was going to be a feel-good game for Carson Wentz. And the fact that we're sitting here talking about his struggles again is blindsided me, which leaves me no way, shape, or form where I can defend him after this week. No way. Even though he went on that drive to tie the game up and they win, it would have been hard to defend. You know what I mean? You would have been like, all right, you got to clean it up, man. You got to clean it up, but you got to win. But you got to win. So it put some roses on some shit for you for a second. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it smells good, right? So, but at the end of the day, it's a tie. It's tying. Nobody's going to feel good going to San Francisco.
No, exactly. Especially when you had a chance to steal one. I mean, which is really sad that you're even having that conversation because you're at home. I know there's no fans, whatever, against the Bengals. You know what I mean? And you had a chance to steal one because the defense bowed up. First and goal from the 4, 20-16 game, touchdown there. That's it, ball game. You know what I'm saying? So you got a penalty. Jalen Mills, huge sack right there to force them to a field goal, keep it at 7. And allow Carson and the offense to have an opportunity to tie it up. You know what I mean? So, you thank your defense for that.
And that's the other thing, Sweeps. You talk about time and situation, right? Your defense was actually playing their best right then. Right, because they knew what was coming. The Bengals became what it looks like the Eagles are on offense, predictable, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the defensive line took over late. They were able to rush the passer, get the Burrow a lot late, and that's where, why not kick it or at least go for it or do something? Because the defense is playing their best right now. Their ears are pinned back, ready to go.
Yeah, Greg, listen to this too, right? We always talk about making life easier for your quarterback, right? And especially a quarterback that hasn't played well yet, right, this year. So you want to make life as easy as possible. Well, you couldn't make up how to make life easy as possible this week against the 32nd ranked rush defense in football, right? You couldn't make up an easier way to make your quarterback comfortable than pounding the rock a little bit more than you would like to this week, right? And if it's giving guys carries, whatever that you may not have, right? And giving Corey Kovac more carries than you even would want to, sometimes you just got to do it this week. This was a week sometimes you just had to do it early on, where you really just had to pound the ball early on. But again, this is like Andy Reid's stubbornness that we used to talk about. This is pure stubbornness to be an all-air attack this week. when you're trying to make your quarterback comfortable. We talked about how can we make him comfortable this week? RPOs, right? Rollouts. Okay, him running, which he did. Right? But the other thing was run the football this week. I'm not Mr. Total Balance, but this week, I would have put the ball in somebody's gut 35 times. Right? This week, I'm just here. I'm helping him out. I'm helping you out.
Miles was averaging 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, you saw the. That's what I'm saying.
He was dead at the end of the game. He was dead.
No, he was.
He was
the first 2 drives. He was, he's ripping stuff off. You know what I mean? I agree with you. Another 47 attempts by Carson. You know, so you start to, like you said, you just wonder, but like you said, you wonder about the game plan. You know what I mean? Like common sense tells you, man. Listen. Nobody likes to spin the ball like us. We love to spin it. You know what I mean? Like individually, like not talking about the. But I mean, like, there's times when you got to make adjustments, and the game plan going into it had to be to pound the rock. You know what I mean? And it just seems like they always get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and listen, and I don't know how. Like, and again, I'm a big believer in throwing the football like everybody is, and I know what Doug. I know it's 55-45, if not a little 60-40, and we're all good with that. But it dictates. He's always been a guy who's adjusted the dictated situation, right? If it's a bad rush defense, he's been known to put it in the belly a little bit more, right? If it's a terrible secondary, he's been known to throw it and air it out a ton, right? He's been known to adjust to that stuff. Listen, guys, all this stuff that we've seen in the past, the balls, the second half adjustments, all the things that were praised here, and I spent time praising, I know a lot of guys have. All of this appeared in these first 3 games. All the things that I praised, and I know all of us have, besides Greg in a way, have praised him. It disappeared in these first 3 games. And it's like, I don't know what the reason is. You don't just forget how to coach, right? Like, I feel like you don't forget how to motivate. You don't forget how to game plan. Like, he's always been, even when we had these terrible first halves last year, right? We had great second half adjustments. We're not even having the second half adjustments right now. Make sense? Against bad football.
No, we're not getting any adjustments, let alone, you're right, second half adjustments. To your point, though, you know what I mean?
So is it a combo of bad? Yeah, it's a combo of bad adjustments and Carson, right? I mean, is it a combo of bad adjustments and a side of Carson, or is it more a side of like Carson's just bad and there's probably some bad adjustments too? Like, I mean, either way, it's all in one. It's all in one because they work together. He changes plays at the line, so you know what I mean. So that time's yours then. Time's yours 11. I can't run from you not playing good. You're a $100 million quarterback. If I can crush Fletcher Cox on the other side, who's had way more of a productive career than you have so far, if I can crush him for disappearing at times, I'm sure they're going to start crushing the quarterback then. Okay? It's unacceptable to be an 0-2-1, 0-3. Who gives a freaking rat's ass? It's unacceptable for this roster, as constructed, going to be $50 million over the cap next year, to not be an all-in roster to try to contend for a division and not a shit one, contend for a real division, all right, and have aspiration for NFC title games in year 5. All right, year 5, Carson. I made excuses in years past about, he hasn't played a lot of football yet. Well, guess what? You have. And I can't make excuses that you don't have weapons on the outside, because at some point, you got to look decisive making throws in, regardless of who you have on the outside. I watch quarterbacks all around the league be decisive with throws. It's my first time in 3 games, these 3 games that I've watched you consistently outside of the first quarter of Washington look indecisive on almost 90% of the throws he's made. Which then, what comes next? You're unsure about stuff. You're off target with balls. Everything escalates. Everything escalates by not trusting what's just out there. Trust it and go. So there's no more excuses. You can tell me 27 guys are in his head. I don't give a rat's ass anymore. I don't care if 45 coordinators are telling him something different. Right? In year 5, you own the offense. I was told by Doug Pederson, our football coach, that in year 5 you master the West Coast fucking offense. That's what I was told. Right? Right? That's what I was told is the thing for Carson. Well, we don't expect him to master it in year 5. So in year 2, we're blowing his ass because it's year 2 and you mastered it. Well, did you? Did you? Because it doesn't look like a guy who's mastered the offense. It looks like what everybody's telling us after football games on football teams all around the league that we've heard too many times. They know what's coming at times. And not saying other teams don't, but we've heard a little too much chatter about that when it comes to the.
It's starting to get more and more prevalent. You're absolutely right, Tom. It's starting to get more and more prevalent. You know what I mean? Like, And even us, maybe we don't know the exact play, right? But if we can tell from a formation, like we probably have an idea what's coming here. I think,
and that's on my quarterback
coordinators.
Too.
Yeah.
So my quarterback who's changing plays at the line of scrimmage plenty. Right? I just don't. I'm not seeing the command of the offense that I expected, regardless of who's on your outside. Winners go win that at year 5. Like I gave you a couple excuses for not beating certain teams because you don't have weapons, but the Cincinnati Bengals are in town.
Yep.
And you can't beat them. You can't at least throw for over 300. You had a whole extra quarter.
You got to win this game.
No extra quarter. Whole league throws for 300.
Bottom line is you got to win this game.
That's a Mitchell Trubisky performance today. That's Mitchell Trubisky over the first 3 weeks. That's what it is.
Don't bring him up.
I just did.
We know who came in for him.
Like you said, it's the same common theme. That continues to plague them. You know what I mean? So it's the turnovers. You know what I mean? Like I said, another 2 picks today and a fumble, but he didn't lose it. But another fumble. The good thing that the lineman hopped on it, or that's another turnover. You know what I mean? So I think they showed a stat the other day. It's more turnovers than games played. I mean that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, how you win this league? That's for sure.
I'm crushing guys yesterday for talking about Jameis Winston and comparing them. Well, shit, this keeps up. That aged well, right? You know what I mean? Like if this keeps up, and I don't expect it to, right? I really truly don't expect it to, but it's hard for me to say that. It's extremely hard for me to say I don't expect it to because the trend's going in. That's the way it is. When the trend starts going and that's the way it is, that's scary. Unless you rattle off like 7 in a row and you're lights out. I'm concerned. Like I can't. Like next week they might get their doors blown off. That's how bad of a football team and how bad he's playing. There's no confidence that I have in this football team moving forward right now. Anything they do exceeds expectations. Anything they do exceeds expectations now. Everything. You revisit your expectations, right? Yep. This is a top 5 pick in the draft team right now on my expectations. That's where they are now. That's how bad.
You're absolutely right. Especially with the upcoming schedule too, right? You know what I mean? The schedule doesn't get easier. You look at the first 3 games, you would have thought, all right, you had Washington, the division game should be tough, but should win that. If you're the team you think you are, should be a win. Rams at home, coming cross country. Again, tough team, should win. And then, of course, the Bengals at home. You should, at worst, maybe be 2-1 there.
2-1.
Heading out to a tough stretch of your schedule, or potentially 3-0, 2-1. Feeling good about yourselves. We see what Dallas is here, right? Dallas isn't that great. You can be ahead of the division, and here we are 0-3. And, Tommy, you're absolutely right. Do you have any confidence? I mean, Nick Mullins just lit up the Giants. Now, the Giants' defense isn't great, but up until the last quarter, our defense hasn't been great either.
Who the hell are we? Who are we? 85 Bears? We can't take a football away from a Pee-wee team. We're getting stops. Congratulations. We're getting stops against a rookie quarterback. I don't care how advanced Joe Burrow is. You understand me? It's a rookie quarterback on the road, game 3 of his whole career. All right? I don't care. That's turnover city to me if I'm a top 10 defense. That's a pick. That's a forced fumble. That's something in the lines of a turnover. Like we can't take the football away when balls get deflected and sit up in the air for 25 seconds. I mean, there's no ball that can find the D-back's hands. It's amazing. When all around the league, all guys do is throw interceptions. You know what I mean?
And we see it with our guy too. All he does is throw interceptions.
Yeah, he gives the ball away. Like we can't take a free one away. It's truly amazing. And this has been going on now for a little bit too long defensively, where we thought the upgrades like Slag, Roby Coleman, been on a milk cart besides one play. We expected some of these guys to take the football away. The best thing for this football team is Devontae Max being out because he has no right playing outside in this league. We talked about it before the season started, but people wanted to try to tell me he could play outside. And I tried to tell people, buy a clue. Nobody wants to listen. Certain people didn't want to listen to us, right? Buy a clue on him playing the outside. You want to talk about a slot guy? Sure. Outside, nope. And again, it's got burned all year. And Trevor Williams is better than him. I mean, that's not saying much, but had played a better game than he did.
What's funny, too, is if you look at the defenses that Burrow went up against the first 2 weeks, they blitzed at like a 60 to 70% clip because he was going up against the rookie. And what does Schwartz never do? Schwartz never blitzes. And that's why he looked fairly comfortable back there for most of the game.
What?
Still in it, boys. We're still in it.
I just had a cover.
That's where they live.
We're still in it. Cowboys lost.
Meanwhile, they lost because DK Metcalf caught a TD. So every time I see him catch a touchdown, I fucking want to freak out because we got the guy that his mom holds a fucking umbrella over his head. It's unreal.
Right. Fletcher's obviously tradable, right? But I don't know. You won't get it. You won't even get a couple footballs for Deshaun. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's just.
What did Deshaun play? 4 plays tonight?
I mean, they're laughing.
Thanks.
You only had 4 targets. You only had 4 targets.
I mean, he's on a milk carton, and he's not playing. I guess he got hurt today. Always hurt. I'm done with Deshaun.
We know, Mario.
Mario. Go write another. Listen, go write some more. All right, babe. Leave the sports to the experts. We'll have you on to promote anything you want, right? Because we love you, but leave the sports to the experts. All right. And yes, he hasn't played well. I mean, it makes all you guys like yourself and some other friends of ours. It makes you guys look good right now, and that doesn't make me happy. You know what I mean? There's some of you guys that I don't feel like have a clue about a clue. A football can hit you in the head, and you wouldn't know it. In terms of football, man, I give respect to you in baseball. It's not football because you've always been out on Carson. Like you, Sticks, the list goes on. Guys, I love that.
I mean, the sad thing is you shouldn't want to be right. You know what I mean? If you're a fan, you know what I mean? Because this is, like you said, it's going to set the franchise back a long time now. You know what I mean? Like you said, obviously with the money, the contract would turn out to be an abomination, and stuff like that. So you're going the wrong direction if he's not the answer. So. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, Sweet.
You have to tell me who is then. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. This is terrible.
Work out, right?
It's terrible for me to say this, and I don't even want to say this.
Because I'm going to probably thinking the same thing.
But
because we all hated him.
But we did draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round, maybe because they're like, Carson don't look good. I mean, because he don't look good, and I don't even want to say it.
Can I one up yet?
But I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be good, but. I mean, maybe they were right.
Listen, can I one up yet? I don't think he's going to be good either, and none of us did, and not a lot of people do. But you know what the funny thing is? You know what happens in this city now. Hey, you know what happens in this city.
It might as well be over for Wentz soon because he ain't going to hear the end of it. You better never.
No, not even that. Well, it's not even that. Hurts will end up being able to play, and then all of us are wrong. Or
I'll take that. I don't care. I want the Eagles to win. I'll be wrong forever. I'll be wrong forever. I don't care. I want the Eagles to win.
That's fair. I do want the Eagles to win, so I'm willing to be wrong forever too. But I hope 11 can just figure it the hell out for right now. I mean, figure it out. I thought
that Carson was a very good player. I think we all did. I mean, he was a very good player in this league. His numbers back it up when he played. Obviously, he's had injuries. We know this. But when he's played, he's been a very good player. But right now, he just does not look good. He just don't look good. No way to run from. Let's
read some comments because we didn't get to them yet, and we're.
I've seen a bunch in there. I've seen a bunch that I liked.
Man, that was quick. TTP Ball says Carson looks like he hasn't seen the field. I think we've all talked about that already.
Yeah. What's up, TTP?
What's up, brother? Mike, what am I saying? That Mill sucks. Say Mill sucks. Whatever. I mean, I'm not even going to go to the defense today. I got other issues. You know what I mean?
Couple nice blitzes out of Jalen today, but he can't cover anybody. We know that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why he moved to safety.
Yeah, today's shit on just randos. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna shit on some high price guys and coaching staffs and etc. today. You know what I mean? That's the kind of day we're having here.
Yeah, a couple sacks and bad PI down there in the red zone. He had
terrible PI with his typical. What did I do?
Yeah.
Agreed. Where else we at? Phil, what is it? That's a lot of F's.
Phil Hollis.
Poor management on Howie's part and Doug for missing on the draft. Well, I don't know if Doug got any parts of it, but yeah. I mean, Howie's side of it, absolutely. Absolutely. Or whoever's side of it, whoever's full control, whatever the case may be, continues to miss. So Dan says the excuse if he doesn't have players around him, he didn't have anything last year, and he balled out. Dan, I said it since we came on. I'm not running from it. I don't care who's out there today. You got to light it up against the Bengals. I mean, it's unacceptable. Year five. Some tough game. Maybe we'll get. I'll make the excuse where you don't have that pure number one. I don't care who's on the outside this year. Right now, in this game Sunday, you got to go. You got to go win. You got to go win this football game. If it's done ugly, it's done ugly. But you got to go win this football game. And some of it at the end was out of his control in terms of holding, etc. Right? But I mean, he didn't play well enough. He should have played way better throughout that football game where it didn't even come to that.
Yeah, agreed, Tommy. I mean, like we said, and what sucks is that he had a huge drive at the end that could have been a defining kind of drive for the season for him to kind of get over how bad he's played, and it goes for naught because we end up tied. So,
Terrence, yeah, go ahead, Greg.
No, as you say, to having weapons at some point, if he's that guy, he's got to overtake that and make those guys better around him. Year 5, or at least against the Bengals. Right? Again, against the Bengals, those excuses are out the door.
No, you're right. That's the whole point. Terrence says, listen, I mean, if you're asking me right now, 0-3 the next 3. I mean, there's no way I can even,
with anybody. Like, it doesn't matter. With anybody on our roster, we're probably 0-3.
I just don't see how the guys, they might not even play for Doug anymore after this. I just don't see how they trust him. To me, this is a loser mentality move from Doug today, and I don't even trust him to be a leader of men anymore. Like, to me, you can't coach in pro sports. I won't even say pro sports. You can't coach above the elementary level if you're playing for a tie. You just can't.
And like I said, those guys are looking up to him as a coach. You look up to Carson. You look up to your coach. In the locker room looks to their coach, looks to their quarterback, their franchise quarterback. As the two leaders in the room, you know what I mean? And if those guys are scared and, playing for ties and, and pussyfooting around, you got no chance. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? The position, we always know this from day one, and it's common sense, right? The position is graded on winning, all right? So you can have all the hollow stats you want. You know what I mean? Just like Dak had today. You know what I mean? Not comparing the two. I'm just saying 469. 2 interceptions and a fumble, a pick right there at the end with a chance to win. You know what I mean? With a chance to get your team to win the game. So, the quarterback position, it's wins and losses. You know what I mean? You can light it up as much as you want. And Wentz hasn't been even lighting it up. You know what I mean? So that discussion is null and void too. You know what I mean? But so we don't have to worry about that. But you gotta find a way to get wins in this league, and that's just. And that's the way it is. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You got to take care of the football. You got to move the chains, and you got to get in the end zone. All right, that's it.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I don't care how you got to win today. If it was ugly, I said it, earlier on. It doesn't matter how you won today. You just had to win. You know what I mean? You just had to win a football game today, and a lot of heat would come off of a lot of people, right, for a second. And you're getting the opposite of that, the worst case scenario, which would be the tie and the way it all went down. I mean, it couldn't get any worse. It got worse today. Week 3 said, "Hold my beer" to the first 2. It really did. It's disgusting. It's freaking disgusting. It's disgusting that I got to be critical of 2 guys that I support like this. It's hard. It's hard to, it's hard. You don't want to flip flop on people, right? You try not to flip flop on people and what you believe in that, right? And then it comes to a point like this where it's it's hard not to. It's hard not to say I don't trust either one right now. They got to prove.
It's constantly in motion, Tommy. I used to trust them, but right now,
I can't.
I can't.
I can't say my quarterback is top 10 in this league. I can't talk about elite. I can't even have this conversation today or for a good amount of games, unless over the next 3 games you come down balls out and you're like, okay, a light switch went off. Just need to get going. Yeah. That's what I'm praying, guys. Guys, I'm praying that the next 3 weeks something catches and now he's back, right? And was this an illusion? He's back to playing like the guy we knew he was. Yeah. The chance of that happening, I'm under 50%. Way under 50? Yeah, I might be at a 30 piece, 25, maybe 10. I don't know. Talk to me after the show. I don't know, right? I'm emotional. It's a bet. Listen, we lost a football game to Washington. Now, it's a divisional game. I get it. I know, Wilson, we always talk about it. We talk divisional game. What they do? Patriots win divisional games for years. I don't against bad teams. You got to go beat them.
Best coach ever.
Okay? So, if you're the team we think you're going to be, year in and year out. So, right? That's how we want to look at us. Everybody wants to live up to the gold standard as Jeffrey Lurie, right? So, then I lost to Washington. I lost to Cincinnati. I lost to the first 2 picks of last year's fucking draft. Neither team is that much upgraded over you roster-wise where you should be losing these games. So I got to look at two areas on why you do, right? Coaching and your star players. Well, hello, 11 and Doug. You know what I mean? Like, I can't run from you. It's not like you're 0-2-1 against the next three teams you're playing. You understand? That's bad enough. This is atrocious. What you're 0-2-1 against. And I know every year's different. Grow up. It ain't that different for the first two teams, for the first two in the draft. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that different. You understand? It ain't that different. They ain't drafting playoff teams. There might be
when they're Washington and Cincinnati, it ain't that different.
Yeah, they might be improved. But they're still not playoff teams that you have any.
They fucking stink.
Yeah, that's it.
Disgusting. It's disgusting that this is happening. And if anybody's out there going to defend any of these two, you got to check yourself tonight. You got to check yourself because there's a lot of defending guys on this air right now that defend Carson, defend Doug. Listen, we can all say right now our confidence is low on both right now and extremely low. And now it's prove it time. So, Mr. Resiliency yourself that I have to call you all fucking for 2 weeks. All right? Mr. Resiliency, Carson's going to be fine. But guess what, man? It's on YouTube now. It's on YouTube. You know, you can still go on a run and figure things out and you know, get it right. You can get it right. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But it's still under your control to get it right. You still could. The chance of that happening, I'm probably at like a 5, right? But you still could. So it's not like your season's over where as you're the quarterback and the coach where you're quitting, right? You got to be going in saying, hey, we can still figure this out. Now, time's yours if you're going to figure it out, as Andy liked to say. Time's yours because I don't see it. Like I said, I see a quarterback almost scared to make a throw. Like not like run around, not any of that. Just scared to pull triggers. I mean, how many times does he look like he's going to pull the trigger and almost like freeze and then move around, freeze again? Is that because nobody's open? I can't believe that nobody's ever open. I got to believe that you're not going through your progressions good enough, right? Or you're giving something away, you're tipping something off, and then the fact that you're inaccurate is a son of a bitch. Like people around here used to get on McNabb. Oh, McNabb's inaccurate. McNabb's inaccurate. This is where Donovan never was this inaccurate ever. This over these 3 games. Donovan
wouldn't have lost 3 games to these fucking teams. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care that we tied. I'll count it as a loss.
He tied Cincinnati before, so
yeah, that's true.
He still went on to make the playoffs, though. So he redeemed himself, but he still tied Cincinnati.
At least he didn't know he could tie.
Fair. Just
I don't even like to bring that up because I'm a Cuse guy. That looks bad on the university, but I will in this circumstance.
You really think he was going to broadcast? You think he was going for a broadcast journalism degree? Do you really believe that?
Football rules 101. Your attendance was not 100% there, Don.
Cromer chiming in says, sorry to say Carson's the guy, and it crushes me to say it. I want to see it. I want to see. Wow. He even goes, I want. So now he goes, sorry. Wow. Okay. Let's go back here. Sorry to say, Carson isn't the guy, and it crushes me to say, I want to see what Hurts has. Okay.
I'm not there yet, Chrome.
Chrome's there. He wants it.
I would have liked to see a pass today. He kind of had a little.
Yeah, would have loved the pass. Would have loved one attempt today. That'd have been great. Maybe the one where you fumbled it, pick it up, and throw it away. Would have loved it. Only had plus 545 that you'd attempt one.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Matt, that completion percentage is above Carson over the first 3 weeks. That's the point. So there you go. I don't know if you're saying it. You know what I mean? I don't know what the point of it is, but I'm telling you that's.
And maybe you didn't watch football then because we were a pretty good team. We weren't bad. Good time to be an Eagles fan for that stretch.
For the most
Maybe we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we won a lot of games. A lot better than it is right now.
Well, Pooty, are you saying fire Doug and get Eric Bieniemy to be the head coach? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I might be all right with it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know.
I'm teetering on Doug right now, Tommy. I just can't believe he punted today. I can't get over it.
Teetering.
I literally cannot get over it.
I want to take that just.
I don't want you to go out and talk about Doug, Greg. but I'll allow you.
No.
I don't want to talk about it, but I'll allow you.
This is the game. This is the game, right? But like we're settling, and we're gonna set up for a 59-yarder anyway.
Field goal. Like, what we think we're gonna make that?
We got to Jake's line with the win. Now, great. I understand. Like worst case scenario, yeah, we'll kick the 60-yarder to win it, right? But why did our offense stop as soon as we got there? We didn't try and get another 5 yards, another 10 yards. We didn't try and do anything. It was just like, all right, we got to our go point. We're just going to look like a piece of shit football team for 3 plays, and then our margin for error was so little.
It was almost like he could see the monitor. It's almost like he could see the monitor at home, like you said. You know what I mean? Like
got to the field goal line, guys.
It's like, you should not be watching TV. What are you doing, pal?
Why is the field goal line at the 41? I do not trust the 59-yarder. I don't give a fuck who's kicking. I don't care who you got back there. Jason Elam in Mile High. I'm not trusting a 59-yard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who the hell told CBS put the line there? Like,
how about the 34? Where's the 34 at? That's where I want the line at all times.
I like it at 25. If you really feel comfortable, you know what I mean? Like,
51-yarder. All right.
I like the first off, Tom. I like the score there. To be honest with you, I don't even want to trust the kicker.
Well, I don't trust my quarterback making the right throws right now to even trust him not turning the football over. So I'm not saying that I agree with Doug on that, but his decision making's been a little bit like So I'm not saying you settle there. You want to score, but even the throw. I mean, they did try to throw it twice on that drive, and it was atrocious. The play calls were atrocious, and the one run they had was atrocious too. It was like a 2-yard run by Boston Scott. I don't even think it was even Miles Sanders. So like that's on Deuce. Like what is Miles not in the game for? Numerous times I was looking at like in big spots, like Boston Scott's in.
Yeah, give me a bubble screen to Greg Ward or split Miles out there, somebody where you can get in space and just give you, like you said, 5, 6, 7 yards. You know what I mean? Like,
because then you get the penalty and you still kick it.
Yeah. Maybe you run the play with Hurts that you ran 3 times already or 4 times, but he actually throws the pass this time to catch him off guard.
And we all win.
And everyone's happy.
Bobby says, I love all the people who say fire Howie because he can't draft, but then say put Hurts in, he'll do better. Then Howie draft him too. And he's right. You're right, Bobby. I mean, you're going to trust the guy who can't pick for a guy to be good. Now, like we all know one thing about Jalen is he can run, he can run around, and that's great. But
he can do a couple things. He can listen. The guy's not an idiot. We've always loved his toughness, and I always said I have so much respect for him for not being a pussy and running away like typical fucking pussy kids now, and running away from Alabama when he got beat out by Tua. He stuck in there and he got a chance, and he had a huge win for them in the BCS bowl game. So and then he ends up transferring and having a great year in Oklahoma. I got the ultimate respect for the kid. I just do not think he's ever going to be a great passer at this level. He can prove me wrong, and I'd love to see him, but I just don't think he will.
So TTP says, interesting question. Do y'all think Carson would look this bad if Nick not won the Super Bowl in 2017? I wonder if the pressure to be the playmaker he used to be caught up with him. It could all be factors in.
TTP, I'm with you on that, and I know Sweeps is going to tell you that you got to be mentally stronger than that, and I would agree with him too. But to me, I feel like yes, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something there.
I like the scouting report on me, though. I like that. I'm glad to see you watch some film on Sweep.
Yeah. Been around the block a couple times.
Like I know.
Went around Washington Terrace a few times.
since you rubber stamped that, I will not say that.
Just that the fact that they've done it. It's another. They just used a big asset on another guy to replace him. I think more than the Foles thing. They're not even like giving them. It's like they put the confidence in you for a second by giving you $100 million deal, and then granted, you got to be tough enough to play through it. But now it's just another time where you're looking over the shoulder. But guess what? In year 5, man, you're $100 million man now. You got to be.
Yeah, and you haven't played a playoff game.
You got to be.
You can't really blame them.
Yeah.
You can't really blame them.
You got to be bigger than that, though, and you got to be tougher than that. And at this point of your career, like you just have to be like, this is my job, and you got to have that mental toughness. And I don't think it's. I think that could be. I don't think it's part of it. It's bad. Listen, I'm not going to say bad mechanics, but like he looks flat-footed on some throws. I mean, just some things that I don't like out of my quarterback. It looks stiff, and when you get stiff, you're not accurate. So it's as simple as that. You got to play loose at the quarterback position. You can't be.
Maybe that's
It's like what I always say: when you play not to get hurt, you get hurt. You know what I mean?
Maybe
you can't play scared.
Maybe that's why he's trying to hip dance before the game. I don't know.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord!
It's funny too because I don't know if Doug just didn't hear the question in the press conference because obviously with everything being virtual, right? But somebody asked a question about the mechanics of Carson and that being an issue, and he just totally skipped over it. Just didn't even acknowledge it, didn't answer it, just was just like had the dumbfounded look on his face that he had the whole press conference and just moved forward. And I was just like, are you trying to tell us something more there?
Brian, how many times are you going to write it, though? We know, understand, Frank Reich. We all like Frank. You know what I mean? I understand it. You wrote it 3 times now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it the first. I got the first. Like, if you want to rub salt in the wound, is this salt in the wound day? I mean, they tell me if that's what everyone wants to do. It's like if everyone wants to rub salt in the wound and make things worse and talk about people that aren't here anymore that will never come back, then we can do that. We can do it all fucking day. We can talk about DK Metcalf. We can talk about all guys that should be here who aren't here. We can have a whole circle jerk on guys who should be here who aren't. Okay? But at the end of the day, we got to talk about what's here and how we move forward. I'm not going to get in the business to talk about who's playing.
Virtual circle jerk.
Not after an 0-2-1 start am I in the business to talk about Frank freaking Reich, Nick freaking Foles, or anybody else. I'm in the business to talk about how can this football team get better moving forward in terms of personnel, everything. That's the position I want to talk about. And none of these guys that were here are going to come back. Okay? Like Frank's not leaving Indy to come back and call plays. All right? So can we get the 2017 out of our head? Like 2017's over. How do we win another one? Right? Who are the fresh things to go win another one with?
I'll tell you what.
I wouldn't say they look like the Chiefs. I mean, they, nice job. I mean, but they scored twice on defense today. So if you're just looking at 36-7 and that looks delicious to you, I mean, they didn't really do much on offense today. But
but he's the one guy that's not here from 2017.
Yeah, I'm not going to kill him. I like Frank actually. You know what I mean? So, but like Tommy said. To Tommy's point, it's
absolutely.
You can't change it. It's going now. You know what I mean? Who's to say? You know what I mean? It's just the way it looks like, right? The other jabroni got a fucking job, and he was in a goddamn embarrassment, right? So you know what I mean? So now all of a sudden, once became Flip, once Flip was an embarrassment, then the apologists want to make Frank fly by himself. Oh, now it's just Frank flying by himself. But before it was Frank and Flip. And then Flip got an opportunity, and he looked like a goddamn fucking kindergartner, right?
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Right.
Correct, sir. Correct.
I think Whip did good things for Carson, but that's it. I think he got ahead of his pay grade, right? Like I think
he did his job for himself, and he
should have been good. He was a good quarterback coach. You know what I mean? To make him out to be better than a quarterback. Some guys are just great at them roles, right? And they're not meant to be anything more than them roles, and that's fine. A lot of guys keep jobs in the league for 20 years, just being quarterback coaches, etc. So you know what I mean? And because they're just that next level is just too big for them or whatever, right? So some guys are just good quarterback whisperers, etc. They might not be great at designs or other things, right? They're good at getting your feet right, etc. in practice, right? There's whatever. At the end of the day, we can't. And what I mean by I know Leonard, like that's a joke, obviously. Yeah, win another game, but I'm talking about win one in the future, right? Like at the end of the day, we want to win one in the future. So like I'm not saying we're having that conversation this year, but listen, our season is over, but it isn't over. So it's up to these players on what they want it to be. With our eyes, this football team is not good enough to contend for a consolation game. You understand? So, when you look at them, do they want to prove us wrong? They can go ahead. They got plenty of football games left to go prove everybody here wrong. But I look at a scared football team, and it starts with your head coach. You have I don't care how many injuries. I'm over the injury talk. You have a franchise quarterback who's upright. We always said here, I know I did, Wells. I know we did. All of us. If 11's upright, we should be winning football games, right? So now
Good
he's
QBs
upright.
Win games in this league. Good QBs win games in this league.
He's upright.
Yeah, when you're going south, every little foot gets magnified. I got news for you. As soon as he came in the league, his mechanics were horseshit. And now we want to talk about mechanics because he's not making throws. I mean, his decision making's bad and he's high, whether it's preseason or just lack of concentration or whatever it is. All right, his mechanics have always been horseshit, right? I mean, like, agreed.
I think maybe he needs to get high, Sweeps, and sell down.
I'll say ball. I'll say ball.
I'm not saying you don't make adjustments to him and you help him out. I'm not saying that by no means. I'm just saying when a guy produces, you leave him alone. You know what I mean? So, but once
I think they might do.
As soon as the guy starts to shit his pants and you start losing football games, now everybody's like, these mechanics are atrocious. I mean, what are we going to do with this guy? It's like,
no, I would say they don't play to his. They're not playing to his strengths like they used to before. They're really trying to keep him in the pocket. Like they really make an emphasis of like him going through every progression and, in my opinion, like taking away what he is. Like I know Power Terror tried saying he doesn't run the RPO good. He absolutely does. It forces him to make quick decisions. Like I said early on in the game, how about some RPOs that get some quick passes, right? Some quick strikes, get your confidence going. Like you want to get going. Like there's no adjustment to help his fucking game. That's what drives me nuts too. We know what his mechanics have been. You're right. So his mechanics have been the same the whole time. Doesn't change. So I'm not going to yell and scream about mechanics. I'm going to keep yelling and screaming about can we play to his strengths then? We know what our guy's strength is. Any good coaching staff plays to their players' strengths. That's 101 talk. So you're purposely doing what you did to Donovan.
Literally your job.
Yeah, like now you're doing what happened to Donovan in the city, and you're almost saying like, "Hey, make throws from inside." Like, no, you got to force to design rollouts. And then there was a couple today. Can't design that rollout all the time, but like all the misdirection of a guy running, not one thing in the belly, and the wide receiver sprinting across. So that doesn't sell shit unless you put one in the fucking belly one time. The guy running across doesn't sell anybody unless you actually put one in there once. You got to put it in there at least once early on to sell that, or you're just doing it to be cute. You know what I mean? So it doesn't do anything. And this is what's mind-boggling. And then I feel like
a lot of cuteness out on the field right now.
Yeah, and no power. Like everything's. I just feel like I watch this all. We all watch all around the league, and we watch guys just slinging around and have a sling party. And it's just. And here it's like it's almost watching when you know a quarterback isn't good enough. And we've seen in this city so many times where we're like, oh, man, we better find one, right? But it just so happens that this guy showed us he's been good before and can be really good. That's the opposite. You know what I mean? So it's the opposite. Like, this is what you expect to see in year 2 when you're like, okay, he's just not good enough, dude. You know what I mean? Like, not the opposite. Not him in contention for the MVP. You know what I mean? We're talking about a fall from grace. Like, I don't care how much scrutiny's on you or you looking over your shoulder, right? The work you put in, that matters. You know what I mean? Like, have you gotten better? To not progress in year 5 on an offense that better than your coaching staff does is mind-boggling. That's what's a struggle to me.
And there was that one series, I think we got a field goal out of it, and they showed it later in the game where I think it was Deshaun came open on that slant real quick right there at the goal line, and he was open for a split second. But to what we've all said, it doesn't seem like Carson's trusting what he's seeing and trusting his reads because he ended up getting sacked on that instead, or that he didn't. Obviously, we didn't score a touchdown, and it's so there that quick hitter that we want was there for at least that one play, and we still didn't hit it.
Look, Genius saying it doesn't work. The RPO absolutely works. Who would rather have he can run that RPO in 3 different ways. You understand? He can put it in the back's belly, he can sling it quick, or he can pull and go. Right? That gives him 3 reads to make. And quick ones, right? That make you decisive. That make you have to be decisive quick. Why not try a little bit of it? You did it with Nick to get him comfortable, right? You did it with one quarterback, but you never do it with the other? That's so fucking strange to me. What's the agenda? Like, is it Jeffrey? Like, is it conspiracy? Like, is it Jeffrey Lurie telling you don't run the RPO with Carson? Like, is it conspiracy? Like, did they want him to fail? Like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused that you can cater offense so great to one guy, but you can't cater the offense to the other guy. I mean, come on. All of us with eyes can say that Carson, talent-wise, is way better than Nick, right? All of us with eyes, but Nick just performs, right? But here he was amazing because we did a lot to help him get the ball out quick and do them things. The same thing we're talking about. If we want Carson to be in the pocket, he has to do quick. So you got to force that quickness upon him. You know what I mean? You got to force it on him.
Yeah.
You don't want him holding the ball too long. Force it out then. I don't want to hear about being banged up front anymore. I don't want to hear about shit. I want to hear about performance. There's $100 million guys all over this football fucking field. One guy showed up today. My quarterback hasn't showed up besides one damn quarter, essentially. You can talk about the last drive. Whoop-de-doo. There was 2 big pass interference calls. Yeah, the running he did on that drive was phenomenal. But I can't go crowning that drive either. I got eyes. I can't crown that drive completely. Was it a good, tough drive? Good. Yeah, it was. It was. Whoop-de-doo. Well, you know what I mean? Whoop-de-doo. Good, tough drive. You're supposed to go on drives like that.
Against the Bengals.
Yeah, like I'm going to crown that drive. I can't even. There's nothing good that came out of it today besides he ran. Besides him running, and I can't believe we're still talking about Carson this long into it, but besides him running, there's nothing that he looked better at.
Tommy, to be honest with you, I think what you said earlier, I'm going to agree with 100%. He doesn't look comfortable making decisions at all, and I think that's like more than the mechanics or more than anything else. It's like he doesn't know what to do with the ball, and he doesn't trust anything with himself. And to me, when you get to that point, shit, are you ever going to get it back?
Hey, we saw a bullpen here.
I don't know.
Throw strikes and find barrels. We found a bullpen here that couldn't miss barrels. Like once you start finding barrels, like and not being able to throw strikes and locate, guess what happens? The trust goes away of yourself. And then you get shuttled over the ballpark and becomes contagious. Well, we're watching it become contagious at the quarterback position. Same type of thing. Got to get guys in rhythm. We talk about rhythm. We done nothing. Never put them in a fucking rhythm.
Couldn't agree more. It reminds me of the old electric football that we used to have, where the guy, when he just spins in place, and you're like, God damn, go straight, man. You got to go somewhere, pal. You know what I mean? You're spinning your wheels there. You know, so it just has that feel to it. You know what I mean? Where this, I don't know.
Aging yourself a bit there, Sweeps.
Yeah, like if he doesn't know what he just has zero confidence, in himself, or he's, like you said, he's taking the heat from all the outside noise and all the pressure, whatever it is just finally, it's too much for him, and he's succumbed to it this season, which I find that I don't find it hard to believe. I'm just saying, like, why would it happen now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Especially when two of the first 3 opponents were tomato cans. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that, the Redskins up front are very dangerous, and they'll make everybody fucking pee the bed. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, overall, you see that secondary, and if the game plan is to get the football out of his hand, it's pick apart soup. Week 1 should have been pick apart soup, as the first couple drives were. It was 17-0 like this, and it was like, ooh, okay. Well,
yeah. Well, can we go back to that? Can we go back to that exact time?
Yeah, giddy up. And then
since that exact moment, we've been shit.
Yeah. Incredible.
Can we go back to that moment?
Mark's got a good point. Mark said, what happened to the Wentz when we had all the hype about having photographic memory and can read all defenses and call perfect audibles? I don't know where the guy went that killed his first play of his career. Like, I don't know where he went. I really don't know where he went. And he was just here. He was just here last year. He was just here. He said hello. You know what I mean? The last 5 games, I would say not even 4, because he played really well against Miami. So the last 5 games in a year, I thought he played extremely well. So he was just here. So I don't know where he went. I don't know why he disappeared. Like, I can't wrap my head around. Nobody can. I have no knowledge in the why.
It hurts.
Besides
speculation. That's all it's happened.
Yeah, but they can't even trade him. He's like 20. He's such a hit against the cap next year if they try dealing him. Like, it's like none of it makes sense. Like, it doesn't make sense for money wise. Like, Uncle Howie Roseman, who's so good at the cap, isn't good at the cap anymore. Like, this is what he's supposed to be, a skill set there. A whole organization, what they do well, and they have not done well this year, and I would even say most parts of last year.
Since the Super Bowl, really.
I'll give
we got to the mountaintop and celebrated.
I'll give him
too long.
I'll give him 2018.
A little too long.
2018, they had a very good football. For 2018, they had a good year. I'll give him 2018. The last 2 years, last year going into this year, it's not been good at all. Like, we got in by the skin of our teeth last year. I'll say that I'm blue in the face. We got lucky that Dak was hurt. I don't care. Like, he didn't throw the ball at all good. You could tell he was banged up, and I think we snuck that out too, which is fine. We'll get it any way we can, okay? And we'll enjoy it. But you saw we started seeing a little leak. There was a little leak going on last year. That leak has now fucking exploded. All right? We got a tsunami coming. We got to get everybody out. We got to evacuate.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for it because obviously there's been plenty of guys playing at top levels in all the four majors, you know what I mean? But you can look at it in the sense where it's one of those years where obviously it's been a crazy year, you know what I mean? Like I said, no excuses, but without preseason, without a player's regular routine, you could see like guys in Major League Baseball, stars have been horseshit this year. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing some NFL guys obviously get hurt. The injuries are off the charts. You know what I mean? Guys in hockey and basketball did not play well in the bubble. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking, to give guys outs. I'm just saying I don't have any answers except for to say like I don't know. It's one of those.
Yeah, like maybe deep down, or not even deep down. Maybe no off season with like new guys coming in, new weapons on the outside, right? Maybe it freaking killed his timing and killed his confidence throwing the football, and he's just not decisive with it. Like, that's the only thing. And other guys had to deal with the same shit. But I'm just making a point. Like, maybe there's some validity to it early on, and maybe he'll find it. Maybe that chemistry will come, and he'll get comfortable with these guys. That's the only hope we have. That's the only prayer we have, that it's just like it's a comfortability issue, and that's what we're seeing more so than you just stink, right? Then you just flat out. I'm trying to hope.
Well, and then that ties into that you drafted the wrong wide receivers, not even just at the top, all the way through. Because if they're legit wide receivers, then they should be able to come in and catch a football if it's thrown at them.
Justin, I understand he single-handedly helped us tie the game, and no bigger Carson supporter than myself. But what did he do to the rest of the football game, brother? This is Cincinnati Bengals. This isn't the Baltimore fucking Ravens. This is Cincinnati Bengals.
That's all we're saying. Like, listen, it is what it is. I mean, there's extreme people on both sides, and all we're saying is, hey, maybe get in the middle somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's the people that hate him so much, they hate his face, they hate everything about him for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And then the people like those comments, the last couple that we've read off, that are the extreme apologists. You know what I mean? So it's like, just be somewhere in the middle, man. Call it like it is. All right. He's been shit for 3 weeks. And this team is 0-2-1. That's it. I mean, stop looking for any silver lining and saying he tied the game up. Like, is that your argument? Seriously? I mean,
it's my argument. Sweet,
thanks
for
for
argument.
tuning in. Appreciate you listening and stay involved and stay inactive. Keep typing things. That's fine. But that's what you came away with today. Like, did he tie the game up?
No, I'm good with that. If they win, I'm good with that argument. If they win. If they win, you're like, okay, that's how you want to defend them today? Fine, absolutely. I probably would be. I'd probably be the first guy turbulence talk, right? I'd probably be the first guy trying to turbulence talking, all right? But you can't today. You can't today.
Thank God, Tommy. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Back.
Good job. And Lord, preach.
Yes, Lord. So factual, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So factual.
I don't know if it's arguable, to be honest with you. I think it's just the worst.
It is the worst. Matthew Spill says, ever think maybe he lacks confidence in his wideouts? I do. But I think
he definitely does, but you still got to throw the ball.
Yeah, stick some balls in a face mask. I mean, I hear you. I mean, we're not.
Yeah. I mean, last year, at least the wideouts were dropping them. This year, they're not even getting there to be dropped.
Yeah. We hear you, Spells. You know what I mean? But like I said, stick some balls in some face masks or do something. I mean,
Joel's fanboy says our line needs our line needs to be rebuilt, or we ain't winning shit. No, both lines in a way, but not.
Well, we got a ton of injuries. Our D-line, good. Silver, I don't want to get Bradley Cooper here. I know Sweeps doesn't like the silver lining here, but the silver lining to this is the D-line showed up today. We got after the quarterback. We stopped the run very well. We're going to need a lot of that moving forward. So, and Darius Slay looked good after an injury scare early. So, we're going to need a lot of all that moving forward. And after everything I've said today, what'd you say, Greg? I'm sorry.
I said I thought his hand was the wrong way at one point.
I thought he broke his arm, too. I was like, oh,
yeah. I thought his hand was the other way. I felt so, oh.
Ball! Fuck.
All right, let me ask you guys this.
Philly Vegas needs a win.
I got two for you guys. I got two for you. All right, and we'll go through this one quick.
Note to self: stop betting the fucking Jets, moron.
Yeah, that too. But what I want to ask you is your confidence level that Carson. No, yeah, we're not doing this. We're done with that.
I didn't mean to laugh in your face. I didn't mean. I don't know.
No. You didn't know where I was going. You assumed. It's fine. It's fine. I'm
1.2.
Yeah,
1.2. About 1.2. I'm sitting at about 1.2.
I totally unacceptable. I totally, without warrant, just laughed in your face because I thought that's what you were going to say.
What did I tell you on the voice message, Sweeps?
Somebody tell this guy.
Have a heart. Have a heart, Sweeps. Stop laughing at us.
Somebody tell this guy you take a drop from up there.
This Tim Cup, this moron.
No, you're good. Your confidence level, Carson Wentz turns it around. Just Carson turns it around and starts playing the football that he's capable of playing. Your confidence in that out of 1 out of 10.
Last week I would have told you 8.5. I'm sitting at about a 5.5 right now.
All right, still over 50%. We'll take it. Greg?
Yeah, I agree. I'm at like a 6. I mean, it's in there. You know what I mean? We've seen it. So, that's obviously that's not a guarantee or anything. I mean, you still got to, you got to execute. Kamara, oh, goodness. He's decent. I'm behind you guys probably.
Yeah, he almost housed it.
Yeah, but we've seen it. You know what I mean? So that's where you still have hope. You know what I mean? You're gonna tell me that he's just complete horseshit now? I mean, where it's unfixable and that's it. He's gone. He lost it. You know what I mean?
I don't want to be in that boat.
He struck, and that was it. He had a couple good seasons. Thanks for coming out. I refuse to believe that. You know what I mean? But we're also not going to run from the fact that he's been horseshit. I mean, you know what I mean? We've killed him for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? We've held him accountable.
We got eyes.
Yeah, we've held him accountable. So, but to answer your question, T, I guess I'm still at a 6.
6. All right, so 5.5, 6. Greg?
I'm at 4.5. I don't think the offense is doing him any favors being very bland and very boring and very predictable. So, unless something changes on that, we're going to continue to see this type of Carson.
It's tough. I mean, I can't drop too much because he's a guy I defended. So, I'll hope to God and you went 5.5. Will Sleeps went 6. I'll go 6.5 then. It's hard for me to go 70%. You know what I mean? So I'm right around where you guys were anyway. So, that's where I'm at, man. And I'm just hoping this guy can prove us all wrong, right? Chrome has him at a 4. Jay Azevedo has him at a 5. Guys, I don't know what Navo said. Navo's saying it should have went for 2 there. Oh, my God, we're doing this. You know what I mean?
But I would have rather take that and lose than what happened.
Well, of course. 20, of course.
Monday morning quarterback, yes. Yeah. Monday morning quarterback, what are we doing? Right? But no.
I would have rather had Doug, pull out his proverbial balls and say, all right, let's go for the win. We need a win, right? We need a W. However, we got to get it. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let me get this, Spidey. The number is your confidence level. Carson will figure it out. 1 out of 10. And get back to the guy that we know, right? Oh, Cerrito, -1. Jesus. Pete Evans 3.
What up, Pete?
Ryan Brodo 5. We'll figure it out with Alshon maybe. We can hope. That's what I was hoping on last week. I don't know if I can keep running to that well, but I'll try. Bruce says Wentz choking is not the plays. Okay, that's fine. Whatever it is, nobody's doing well. If it's the play calling, it's you realize that he can change the plays at the line too, right, Bruce? I'm not trying to hammer the guy, and it's all about hammering him today. But we realize that too, right? We realize that he can change the plays in year 5 of the offense. He supposedly mastered the offense in year 5. That's what they tell you. So you should be able to change plays and get your offense in the looks you want, right? So that tells me that you're not. If you're not confident with your decision making, that means you're not reading the defenses the way you thought they were playing you, right? Because you're not getting your team into the right place. He's not a rookie quarterback where every play call needs to get ran. and you don't change it up, and you're just missionary, and that's it. You just say hike, right? I mean, come on, man, it's year fucking 5. We're gonna say that it's all about the play calling. He's calling the plays. We don't think he is. We're fucking delusional. Him and Doug are calling the plays together. I mean, come on, it's a combo here, a play calling. How many times he kill it and get us into bad plays where you see a bad ball, etc. Come on, it goes both ways here. He's going to get free passes. The play calling's bad. The play calling's part of it. We agree on that because they can get him into better stuff that fits him better. But the arsenal that he has to call on his own also matters too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blender like we always talk about. You know what I mean? It's a combo. It's a combo blender. You know what I mean? It's about, he's got to be better. The play call's got to be better. The scheme's got to be better. The game plan, whatever you want to talk about. You know what I mean? It's all got to be better. You know what I mean? You're 0-2-1. You know what I mean? So just to automatically assume that these are the greatest play calls ever, and it's just operator error is a little silly. It's a little silly to me. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean? And like you said, I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying to me that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a combo. It's a combo of madness. You know what I mean? That's it. I mean, there's blame to go around here. When you're losing to bad teams and tying bad teams, there's blame to circle to block. Circle to block will blame on everybody, right?
Give me number 8. Give me a number 8 supersized. That's combo. Combo
meal. Love combos. Love a big combo.
Huge fan of combos.
Wow, did he, Ryan? Ryan says Seth Joyner pretty much called Carson a dumbass on the post game earlier. Wow. Okay. Oh, geez. I mean, Seth said maybe they take another hit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because that's aggressive. You know what I mean? That's aggressive. They say on an Eagles post game show. I mean, you're calling a guy a dumbass. Jeez. Okay. All right. I mean, I would like to know the context of the dumbass. I would really like to know the context.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play the tape. You know what I mean? Because we all enjoy a good Ricky Bo. It's me. It was our favorite thing of the you don't want the Phillies to lose, but if the Phillies were going to lose, our favorite part was our post game just to get to see Ricky Bo absolutely lose his fucking mind. You know what I mean? But never once did Ricky ever called anybody's character into it or actually name called anybody. You know what I mean? They just tell you that you're fucking horse shit and you're bad at your job. You know what I mean? So having not seen the Seth Joyner statement, I like to see it, just to see.
Yeah, just see where the context of what he's going with to that. I really need to know that. Lord Walker says Wentz is not garbage or loss. He's talking about practice squad players and a ghosted Alshon and his old faithful Ertz in a fog over a contract and a bad O-line. I agree with you on all that. They were things I said over the first 2 weeks. I completely agree with. But a game like today, I need you to Superman me. You know what I mean? I need you to Superman me for a dub. And I know you tried doing that, running the football yourself, but I really need you to Superman me, or I need my head coach to help you Superman by saying, hey, when I say run the fucking ball, we're running the ball, okay? When I say run the ball, we're running the ball, right? And I think today needed to be a day where you really just helped them out and bellied up. And even when we hate Corey Clement and don't think Boston Scott's good enough to be a number 2 in this league, you got to put stuff in bellies. You got to belly up. And I know Miles looked really tired at the end of the game, and you don't want to wear him out too much because I think some of his conditioning is a little off. But, I mean, today's the day we have to suck it up and go to work. You know what I mean? You can go to bed. You can take a day off of work this week. You know what I mean? You can miss Wednesday's practice, but I'm putting the ball in your fucking gut 30 times. You can miss Wednesday and Thursday, but Sunday, I'm putting, like you did to Brian Westbrook back in the day, you can miss 2 practices, but I'm putting the ball in your fucking gut 30 times and we're going to win a game.
Yeah, like I said, I understand. It's a quarterback versus wide receiver. Not comparison, but Seth. And I understand, if you want to kill Carson first play, that's great. You know what I mean? But is there anybody just lets Deshaun, Jackson, the fact that he's on the field for 4 plays the last 2 seasons, everybody's okay with that. You know what I mean? Not everybody. You know what I mean? I've never seen that. There's no nobody yells from the mountaintops about that. You know what I mean? It's he's a weapon that can help.
They did bring that up. They did bring it up.
Nice to have you.
That's the part I watched. You know what I mean? They did bring him up, and they all said, "Can you even count on him anymore? What? Why are we even talking about him anymore?"
Mike, Wait, running with who? I know running with who. I'm the one who yelled for 5 fucking months, so we need somebody to back up Miles Sanders, right? I couldn't have said it on 45 million shows with other guys too, not just myself, but other guys as well. They couldn't have said it on more shows. Like ad nauseum, beg for Devontae Freeman, beg for guys that all these running backs that came out there, Adrian Peterson. We begged for all of them. Every one. People said, "Oh, you're just typical Eagles fans." No, we needed a backup. So you didn't go get a backup. So guess what? Then you put it in the other guy's belly. Freaking, you don't want to put it in Miles' belly 30 times? Fine. Then you put it in Boston Scott's belly 15. You put it in Corey Clement's belly 10. Okay? You just start sticking it in damn bellies, and then then you show up your GM upstairs that this is what he left you. That's what you do then. It's a 32nd ranked rush defense in fucking football, which means they're terrible. It's like so it's pretty much a college team, essentially, which it isn't. We know it's an NFL team. We get that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you can't rush against them, you should be on practice squads, or you shouldn't be in the league. Simple.
Agreed, Tommy.
They shouldn't be in the league, but that's fine.
Agreed. And one more thing on Doug. I know I've been killing Doug tonight, and rightfully so. I still don't even know if I can come back to being back on board with Doug. But he wrote a book called Fearless. I just want to say that. He wrote a book called Fearless and then settled for a tie today. Just remember that. Because they should pull every book from the fucking shelf. Everyone. Unfucking real. I still can't believe we punted. I can't believe it. He could have thrown a Hail Mary and I respected him more.
Anything. Respecting him more, and they're going to be a guy who's respecting him more, right? Like, and I know you're right with me, Wells. You know what I'm saying? I know, as a big time Eagles fan, I know you're in that corner with me. A big time respect for the guy and love the guy. But today's like, I mean, I'm not saying we dealt with it, Andy, but we dealt with some times with Andy where we're like, oh man, I think he lost it, right? We think we lost it, and I just hope that's not the case for Doug, right? Like, I'm hoping that he's going through a rough patch too, and both our quarterback and him are just going through it at the wrong times together, right? Just praying to God that that's it. I'm praying to God that's it. And then somehow something changes in the next couple weeks, so starting Sunday, that they find a little bit of their swagger. But after his performance, after the way you go for a tie, it's hard to think there's any swagger in the tank. That's it. I got to go pee.
And we hear you, Mike. It's just like, in the sense where, like, today especially, I mean, I think that's mostly what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, when you're going up against, that defense, that rush defense, you know what I mean? Like, you got guys that can get hands on guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, that's what, and whether you're a bad offensive lineman or not, like, that's what they like to do. They like to go forward and get their hands on guys. You know what I mean? So, I'm not saying that's, it's automatic. I'm just saying, like, today was a perfect opportunity for that to happen. You know what I mean? And it just feels like, he just kind of abandoned it, a little bit too early. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like we said, Miles was ripping off some runs, and you could at least be handed to the other guys. You see what the hell you got. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's calling for 3 dive plays. For 1 yard. Just run it. Run it into the middle of the line. That's not getting any push up front. And just to do it, to show it to them. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's saying that. It's just like, hey man, just you run the football till they show you they can stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, Miles was at one point was averaging 7-yard a clip, and when you do, you're absolutely right. When you do have an offensive line that is banged up or that is moving around or where it isn't very good, you want to get them in a positive way, and that's going forward, right? We always talk about every sport. When you go forward, you attack. And when you're running the ball, you're attacking the defensive line as opposed to playing back and throwing the ball.
Yeah, you know where you're going. You know what hole you're going. I mean, like, pass blocking, you're on your heels, and then that defensive guy, you don't know where he's going. He can, swim move, whatever, big time move he's got or something. And he puts you on the defense. You know what I mean? He puts you on defensively. He's got you. Instead of you being the aggressor, you know what I mean? Where you can, when you unblock, you're the aggressor. So I don't know. It's just, to me, that's what they love to do. Not being having been a lineman, I can't speak from experience. I'm just saying, like, having heard, Hall of Fame guys talk about it, and the guys that are, the best to play the game, in the trenches, they love to get their hands on guys. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what you want to do. Just that's where you are. You're delivering the hit rather than taking the hit. You know what I mean? So that's what you want to do if you're a lineman.
Wills, I think they added an edit to Doug's book.
Yeah, they probably should. Little asterisk
Needs
to be there.
That's wild. I love it.
Fucking real. But I love that though. Great people are very clever. Better watch yourself, Doug, because people are clever.
Clever boy.
And
Wills, another thing is you talk about the O-line, right? And the guys on the O-line is you got a younger O-line or some guys that aren't experienced in the spots. You get them moving forward. You get them their confidence going.
Absolutely.
So when you're like, okay, if it's not Miles Sanders, well, if you're rushing off 7 yards to carry, you should still be able to get 4 from your other guy then. Right. If he's half the player, you know what I'm saying? If he's half the player, then you should get half the yards.
Like he's an NFL running back.
Yeah, I know that's the dumbest thing ever probably said by me ever, but you know what I mean?
That's not true.
No, fair. Thanks, guys. But you know what I mean?
Like I laughed at you earlier, I stayed out of that.
Like you can't get 3.5 yards of carry with your backup running backs. I mean, then neither should be on the roster. That's how that works.
Absolutely. Then we should have signed Devontae Freeman. We should have signed Adrian Peterson. We should have traded for Leonard Fournette. Like, yes, all of that, because those guys at least have shown and a track record of showing that they're able to get yards even when they're not there. Yeah, I don't know how you're fine with a tie, Jaws fanboy. I can't be. I'd rather have a loss. I'd rather you go for a shot and lose than come away with a tie.
I'd rather have been punched
I don't
in
wake
the
up
face.
to lose.
I'd rather have everyone that commented in this thing punch me in the face than tie that football game.
Yeah, and I don't wake up to lose. But I
we can make that happen.
Or if you were on defense, you know what I mean? Where the Bengals didn't attempt a 60-yarder, then you say to yourself, all right, at least we got out of Dodge. You know what I mean? Like we talked about earlier, you know what I mean? But not when you're the guy, when you're the team that had the ball. You know what I mean? Yep. So you never accept it. You should never accept a tie. All right. But depending on, what side of the ball you were on right there, you could be
like the Bengals are probably okay with the tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot. Well, listen to this, right? I mean, Friday night, I was coaching my team and my other team, right? And they tied. And I was like, oh, great game, they equal, but like I hated the tie. Like I hated the tie. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted one of the two to win. You know what I mean? And that's just nothing. That's just like 12U meaningful, like almost like a scrimmage game. You still want somebody to win. You know what I mean? Like one of the two win. Everybody plays to win. Nobody plays for a freaking tie ever in the history of sports. Do you ever wake up and say, you know what would be good today? A tie. Like, you know what I mean? Never.
The great Herm Edwards.
Never.
Sweet said it earlier.
Yeah, like sweet, right? Like you're never going like, oh yeah, tie's cool. I don't care if you're scrimmaging. Yeah, I don't care if it's a preseason game. Ties are never a good time. You never wake up for a tie. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. That's how it works. And I think we're all good with a loss over a tie because it's not like we're 2-0 like Sweep said earlier, where you're like, okay, well, it actually helps you. You can make the argument where it helps you. Like, screw helping you at 0-2-1. Screw helping you against the Cincinnati Bengals. Screw helping you. My God. It's all context. Everything.
Like if it happened in 3 weeks against the Ravens, you'd be like, whoa, all right, man, we got out of Dodge with a tie. Holy shit. Like, okay. All right. You look around, you say, how the fuck that happened? Okay. Glad we didn't get doored. You know what I mean? But, against the Bengals.
DGB. Let's go, DGB.
Another guy that doesn't deserve an acronym.
What up, Crow?
Fine with a tie? Fucking loser.
Yeah, fucking loser nerds are fine with ties. One thing I will say, though, I know I've been killing the team, killing Doug. Let's go find a way to get a win next Sunday, okay? Because 1-2-1, you can start reeling me back in.
Well, you're back. You're back.
You start reeling me back in.
Crow, nothing like
picking a loss. I'm purposely picking a loss this week, hoping they win. You know what I mean? Going the other side. I always pick wins. This week, I am not picking a win on any show. We can do it in a couple minutes here. I'm picking it.
You want some pepperoni now? Just have a slice of shit.
Slice of shit. Not sure who slices shit, but woo, that's a good one.
Romer, our heinous lineup got in the playoffs, buddy. Goodness gracious.
We do need to get a win next week.
Thanks,
we need
Sean.
to get a. I don't know how we're going to do it,
Look at Matt
but
Spells.
we need to get one.
Matt Spells with crying emojis. I know that's what the emojis are after. We're half a game out. We're right there. We're right there. We control our own destiny. We played Dallas twice. We control our own destiny. Here we go.
Anyone that's watched Dallas play knows that we don't deserve to be on the same field as them right now, and they should be 0-3. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like I said, you forget, you switch sports there. You know what I mean? Like we were cracking up, a couple nights ago, and we were saying, "Oh, you're saying the Phils have a chance." You know what I mean? Like, mathematically they did, right? But by watching the team and for 60 games, we knew they didn't. They didn't belong. It was what it was. Or they had obviously an opportunity to take their own destiny in their own hands, and we saw what happened to them. You know what I mean? So same,
Every opportunity.
same thing applies here. It's like, oh, you're only a half game out. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not a false statement. It's not a false statement, but I mean, like you said, if you watch both teams, if you were playing the Cowboys next week for the division, I would say that it would have to be Cowboys would be -14. You know what I mean?
Only 14
on neutral. Yeah, I'm being nice because it's just a rivalry.
I don't think they flex this early in the season.
We're Sunday night next week.
That game stays Sunday night next week. Yeah, we are.
That's glorious. So we can get our ass kicked on national televised game. On a national televised game. That's fun stuff. That's good times. Jeez. I mean, what's going to – I mean, now we're going to come out and somehow win next week, and then it's going to draw everybody back in somehow. I don't know how. Well, I mean, Wilson's got me thinking now. Now you got me half a game out. John, half a game out. We suck. I love my team, but we're all being real. We're joking now.
Yeah.
Joke fest. Matt Spill said, could see 2 Philly GMs get fired this year. Yeah, I mean, you could.
Yeah,
maybe
one
3
tomorrow.
I was going to say Pink Slip Monday. You like to see Matty K get his pinky.
Angels already fired their guy. He's already out.
Jay, you know what I'll say there to that, though? You never know. I mean, I don't think they win. You know what I mean? I really don't know how they win, but you never know. You know what I mean? You just never know in this league.
Oh, they're banged up. That's the only thing you can say. Because if they're 100%, like I know you didn't like them at the beginning of the year, but if they're completely healthy, they're 1,000 times better. You know what I mean? Like, that's just reality. You know what I mean? Like, so. But they're banged up, so I mean, you got a chance. I mean, anything's possible in the National Football League, as we alluded to many times. Any given Sunday, they made a fucking movie out of it.
Yeah, TTP. Yep. I mean, that's what it is. Ass kicked on national TV. That's always fun. Wake up Monday morning and the whole world's blasting even more. I mean, that's even better.
Yeah,
there's not enough scrutiny on this football team. Right.
Just be hiding out on the East Coast.
Yeah. I'm Carson. I don't even take the trip. But if you don't, your backup probably takes a job from you. Joey, does anyone want to win the NFC East? Doesn't look like it, brother. Doesn't look like it. And Mike Royal says Schwartz gets his pinky, please, in terms of a pink. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I don't know. I mean, I don't know who you bring in. I mean, I'm not like out on Jim Schwartz either. Like, I think this defense played good enough today, and they played good enough to win. So at the end of the day, I can't put it all on that. The only thing I put on them over the first 3 weeks, which glaring, is the takeaways. That's the big glaring thing with this defense that I expected it to be better at. That's the concerning thing when I look at this defense. Today, the concern of getting after the quarterback and things that we thought we were going to be really good at sort of showed its head, right? And I think if you would have told me that we hold the Bengals at 23, I had them at 21 points. So, and I had us winning. I mean, I had us scoring 34 points. I mean, I thought that we were gonna really. It was a get right day for us, and it's a shame it wasn't. It really is a shame that we're on here talking about the opposite, because I feel for this quarterback, even though I'm crushing him today. I do feel for him because it's the opposite of the direction he wants to go right now. You know what I mean? Like this is not.
Like you said,
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, this is not the
Sorry,
record.
to your point, I mean, like I said, to your point, it's been going on for years now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when the Eagles teams were good, all the, you know, they had that run under Andy, and they were really good, you know, especially on defense. I know Jim Johnson, you know, the guy's the best, you know what I mean? But, you know, they were good on the special teams and defense, you know what I mean? And they created turnovers. They scored. I feel like you might even go, I don't know how many years you want to go back, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what, you know, the Eagles don't get pick sixes. They don't get strip sacks. They don't get scoop and scores. They don't get special teams touchdowns. They don't get safeties. They don't get anything. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me.
Yeah,
all around the league, everybody. It happens to everybody. You know, people walk into safeties. People accidentally get safeties. You know what I mean? It's like nuts.
Yeah, I just don't understand. You're right, and it's like, you know, some of that has to be on player evaluation on your back end too, right? I mean, some of it has to be on the guys you had on back then when you're talking about Lito and Sheldon and Bobby and Troy. You know, you had ball hawks. You had guys who took the football away. You know, even Asante Samuel years, you had a guy who football found his damn hands. I mean, you know, you bring in Slay and you bring in Coleman, and you know, Slay's been good. You know what I mean? And Coleman's been atrocious up until one play today. And Avonte Maddox has stunk. Rodney McLeod's never been a ball hawk. And, you know, we don't know what Jalen is at safety yet, fully. I mean, it's 3 games into a transition. So I thought he played better. I think he played his best football to date today. And that's not saying a lot, but at least his name was being called a lot. He looked like he was active in tackling wise. So in that terms of safety, I'll take it, right? But there's nobody's taking the football away. And that's always going to be concerning. Always. And today's not on the defense at all. You know, I'm just talking about the first 3 games. Like, what I do put on the defense is got to take the football away in this league, man. Like, especially when your offense is giving it away. You know, I need you now to step up and take away. Now, I think they'll come in bunches, hopefully, and maybe they start this week. You know, maybe Mullen starts. He had a good game today. Maybe a Gooser the next week. You know what I mean? Maybe a Gooser next week. That's all I can pray for. And this offense and this quarterback step the fuck up.
And that's what you were supposed to do today, at least on the defensive line. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I understand it's easier said than done, but their offensive line stinks. You know what I mean? So you expect the quarterback. I understand 8 times is outrageous. You know what I mean? So good for them. You know what I mean? I tip my cap to the birds up front. You know what I mean? You know, they did a great job, but that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I'm not that guy. I'm also not that guy that says, like, you're always supposed to do a job. I understand how sports works. You know what I mean? It doesn't always work like that. You know what I mean? But today was a day where you were supposed to run the football down their throats offensively, and you were supposed to get to the quarterback. Those 2 things were certainties. You know what I mean? So whatever else happened with the outcome of the game, you know, we understand that. You know what I mean? But you should be able to run the ball, all right, and get to a young rookie quarterback. All right, and make them feel you like Malik Jackson did. You know what I mean? Like, credit to Joe Burrow for getting up, putting himself back together.
Murdered him.
Putting himself back together with duct tape because Malik absolutely broke him in half. You know what
I mean? I missed that hit. So when they threw the flag, I thought it was Derek Barnett again because I know he was like live at least. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was just Derek Barnett going low. Like, here we go. Here comes another Derek Barnett idiot penalty. And then you put the replay. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Crumb, I'm trying to explain to you.
That hit was fucking fine too.
I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him in terms of you got to do a better job. I'm saying I feel bad at everything that's transpired with him throughout his tenure here. I can feel for a dude a little bit. I mean, I know it's a bad day. I know he struggled. I get all that, man. But I can still say, man to man, I feel for you, dude. I can still say that. Even though we're fans and we're diehards and we're animals, I get all that, dude. But this dude ain't a bad guy. Like, it's not like he's a scumbag where I'm like, oh man, you shouldn't feel for him. Like, you know what I mean? Don't feel for D-Jax, right? Don't feel for D-Jax who's quitting on his team every week. You know, pulling his best imitation of Jason Peters every week. Okay? So don't talk about guys like that. All right? I mean, Carm, I agree with you all day today. But this one I can't. Like, to say that you can't feel bad for him is like, come on. We can get how this has transpired for him throughout his tenure. We can have a sense of having a feel for what's going on here, man. You know, in a situation where they go draft your replacement and you need the ball out and you're doing the opposite, and everything that's happened to you has been the opposite of what we expected when 2017 was rocking and rolling. right? You didn't get a hoisted Lombardi, essentially, right? You didn't, you know what I mean? Then the next year you get banged up, right? And then the next year you go on a run, right? You go on a little run at the end. You get into the dance, and guess what happens? You get banged up again. And then you come into this year, and you're expecting it to be your team, but no, they go and draft your replacement, essentially, right? And then you're having a bad year, a terrible year, right? I can't say that. I can't be critical and say, damn, I feel for this dude. Am I wrong for saying that, guys? I don't know. Like, I think I can have it both ways. I think I can crush him and then say, dude, I do feel for him, though. Shit. You want to talk about
Tommy, I hear you. I think I'm with you. I feel for him, but also you're getting paid handsomely. I need you to figure it out.
Yeah. It's not like in no way, shape, or form am I giving a pass to it. I 100% agree with you. You got to figure it the hell out, right? If you don't figure it out, you're not going to have a job long. But I'm just saying that I feel bad for the whole way it's transpired. Because it's just crazy. You can't make it up. Like, anything that could go wrong, it's going wrong for him. And it's like, damn. Like, is it just something with you? Is it a stigma with you? Is that stigma always going to be here? Because if the stigma's always going to be here, when is the time to move on then? I'm so conflicted.
Think less than 3 years ago, we were calling him NFL MVP.
And now I'm conflicted. So I feel bad for me as a fan and all us fans. And that ties into me feeling bad for him as just a fan. Like, shit. Because I need you. And then it feels like you lied. It feels like it's been a lie to our eyes what we saw early on. And we're all big eye guys. And now it's like, shit, were we all that wrong? Or is the mental part of the game just that up in his fucking head where we know why, your whole life you hear 90% mental or whatever the fuck they try to tell you, right? Like, because it's real. Because it's real. Or it's not and you just aren't good enough, right? I don't know. Like, we might have to get the doc on or a psychiatrist on. Like, we might have to say, doc, we're going to get it. We apologize, but we're going to get a psychiatrist on this week. You know what I mean? Because we need to lay on the couch and figure out what's wrong with him. Like, is there something wrong with him? Don't go see Nelson's doc. Like, you know what I mean? Hopefully, he might be seeing Nelson's doc. Nelson couldn't catch a pass when he started seeing the doc. So, I mean, you know what I mean? I hope you're not seeing the same doc. Or is it that you stink? Right? Like, you know what I mean, guys? Like, it's crazy. What is it? And nobody has the answer. Because the one sounds like an excuse, right? The mental will always sound like an excuse at times. And it's not meant to be. Make sense? Be tough enough to get over it. You're at the highest level of sports. Right? You're getting paid handsomely, like Wilson said, right? You got to figure out a way to get over it, or you're just not good enough.
And you know what? It's one thing if, right, NFL teams have missed on quarterbacks for the whole time, right? Like, Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, right? Every team invests to get their quarterback, and they miss at times.
Yep.
But to double down on it and then pay him as well, that leads me to believe that it wasn't a miss. You know what I mean? Because if it was a miss, you just move on from him. You don't extend him. You don't pay him like a top tier quarterback. You don't.
This wasn't a miss up until now.
No, I know, but that's kind of talking through what Tommy's trying to do. Talk through all the demons in our heads, right? And
it's 3 games, but still, it's been a rough 3 games.
You don't double down on a miss by extending them to big money.
Listen, I can't. Yeah. And Greg, I can't do the Christmas Day thing like we do in basketball with this. I can't play the early game. Like, I can't play the early game. It's Cincinnati fucking Bengals. I can't play the early game. Whereas I would love to. I would love to say it's only 3 games. I said it.
I know, but it's been a bad 3.
Yeah, I can't say it to 3. I can't say it. Now we got
not 0-3 or 0-2-1.
Now we have a sample size of trash. We have a sample size of trash. Yeah. That's not good. Sample sizes of trash are never a good time. It means you get roaches. You know what I mean? And we know it comes with roaches. Nothing good. Nothing good. Exterminators hit you over the head. They don't get rid of them. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, you got to drop bombs on your fucking house. Nothing good comes out of roaches.
Yeah. I think Wills was more talking about just like 3 games as a team. You know what I mean? It's just as a season. You know what I mean? But,
no, I know. But like I always say quarterly. Like I judge you after 4. Well, shit. I mean, goddamn. I mean, you got to throw for 500 in game 4. Like, anyway, but it always is a what have you done for me lately? And if he does come out and play well next week, he can, like we said this week, he can silence some critics for a minute. But Man, it's hard to find out how that happens.
Crumb's not happy with you. I mean,
Rogers dropped a bomb that was hard.
The rest of us didn't say anything about feeling bad, so this is on you, buddy. This is your employee right here, buddy. So we're just gonna step aside. You handle this.
Yeah, I'll handle it real easy. Like, I know Sweeps talks about it a lot, the kids, and I know I do too. You know, it's something that we all know how important it is. You know, the way you approach, the mental, it's so important. All right? So we know how real it is. And Chrome, you know how real the brain is. And right? And then you talk about performance, but I'm just making the point that everything has been set up to be replaced. Like, it's one thing if you don't draft the guy in the second round. We're not having the conversation in the mental block, right? I'm not even bringing it the fuck up. It's not real. It's real again, Chrome. And to act like that can't be a real thing, that's an asinine comment. I'm not saying I feel bad for him. Get it the fuck right, or you won't have a job long. Okay? We all get that. I'm just saying, damn, like, can you ever not look over your shoulder one time? Like, 1 year here, after getting hurt, you haven't looked over your shoulder. Like, that's crazy to me, guys. If that's your guy. If that's your guy, you don't make him look over his shoulder until you know he's not your guy. And if he's not your guy, why are you giving him an extension? It's mind-boggling. The organization done him no favors here either, Chrome. But again, he's got to step up and play better. We agree on that. So I don't know why you're making a big deal because I say I feel bad how it's happened. My God, what's so wrong about that? That's an asinine comment out of me to say, damn, I just feel bad for this dude. He can't get out of his own way. You know what I mean? There's always something else. There's always something else with this guy. Something else, right? Has it not been like that? It's always something. If it's not Foles coming in today, if it's not, yeah, right? It's just amazing. You couldn't write this up. Like, you couldn't tell me that this happened. If you would have told me 8 games into 2017 that this was going to happen, I would have squared you up because I would have said that everything's a lie then, right? So I don't know I don't know what I'm saying wrong. This dude's got to play better. All right? So you got to put it aside mentally, or you're just not tough enough for the position. But they've done him no favors that make him feel like it's his ever since he got hurt. Right? And then he gets hurt last year. They did no favors again to make him have to look over again. You can also, everybody can say it's not real, fine. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just not good enough. I don't know. I'm laying on the couch trying to talk to you guys as psychiatrists right now. So I don't really know.
No, I agree with that, but I would think that giving him a $100 million contract says, hey, you're the guy, but you're right.
Does it?
Pound on that. But to your point, though, taking Jalen Hurts or anybody in the second round contradicts giving $100 million. It
makes sense.
Right. No, absolutely.
Go 2-1
you take him in the fourth round as a gadget player, cool. Makes sense. Right? Fourth round, there's no pressure there. But second round, when we're seeing all these other second rounders play well.
Chrome, grow up. When you're a $100 million quarterback, you don't look over your shoulder. Okay? Until your career's up, until you're Rodgers' age, right? Then you start peaking. Okay? Then you start fucking peaking. Would you stop it? Name a franchise guy that got paid $100 million that's got to look over his damn freaking shoulder. You tell me who he is in the league. You always look over your shoulder. I get it in professional sports because somebody's always coming for your job. But guess what? Usually the guy behind you isn't good enough. And you don't put a big asset into him. Usually that's how it works in the quarterback position. I'm not talking about other positions. Right? I'm talking about $100 million for a quarterback. Usually the guy behind him is nowhere near him talent-wise, and there's never a look over the shoulder until he's like 34. And then he starts peaking. Right? Or he's not good enough, and then he peaks. Right? You know what I mean? So it's two ways. Come on. It's common sense. You know, watch football your whole life? At the quarterback position we're talking about? So, like the Greg point, the contradiction. Here's $100 million. We trust you. You're a guy. Hold on. Hold the phone. We're picking a quarterback in the second round. No, you know what I mean? It makes no sense.
Absolutely.
The most asinine shit I've ever been a part of with an organization. If he's not your guy, fine. Just don't pay him.
Right. That's exactly it. Like, don't comprehend and compound you missing it too. If you missed, right? And I'm not saying they did, but if he's not your guy, why pay him? Because you think you have to? Because you think you're trapped because you gave up all those assets to get the 2? Well, then you missed. But don't compound it. Don't put yourself into financial ruin, which you already were when you signed him. When you extended him, they knew exactly what the cap was going to look like in 2 years after they signed him. To the point where they knew they were going to have to get rid of people and find ways to shed money and kind of rebuild the roster. So if he was going to be your miss, he was number one, your reason and your ability to get out of cap hell. But yet you compounded it by giving him the money and the cap hit that you gave him.
Guys, when he got signed, right? And then we'll segue. When he got signed, right? We all said, "Oh wow, that's they put a lot of stock into him.
Great deal.
They believe
Team-friendly deal,
great deal, blah 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 blah, right?" And then when the draft night happened, all reactions were the same. We're all human beings, right? We're all human beings, just like their quarterback is. We all said what? We all said what? So Howie could call him all the fuck he wants. You could send him Grubhub. You could do whatever. You can send him 100 masks to walk around with, right? A little walking around mask, okay? You can do whatever you want. You still did it. So our reactions, what? What do you think he went and said to his fucking wife? Somebody riddle me what you think that conversation was. You tell me. And then tell me I'm fucking wrong, Chrome, for saying that it's just ridiculous. He's always looking over his shoulder. You tell me I'm wrong what was said at fucking dinner. You tell me. Because now I'm going to circle back and defend the guy a little bit for the bullshit this organization's done. $100 million or not. That conversation's still the same. What? They got somebody else coming. Now, here we go again. Here we go again. Can you believe these fucking guys? Can you believe this dork? That's what he probably said, and he's a great Christian guy. He probably fucking said, you believe this fucking dork? He actually called me, too. I want to tell him. You know what I mean? This guy's calling me. Hey, second round pick. I just took the team to playoff with nobody, and you're using the pick there? So you tried to massage me. You tried to give me a little rub, no sauce, right? Little rub, no sauce. Okay?
Dry guy.
You tried to dry me up. You tried to dry rub me with Jalen Reagor, and then you come back and you totally then bend me over and strap it on. That's what you did. So you tried to fool me by your first round pick, saying, "Oh, Carson, we got you a weapon. We're taking care of you." So illusion is look at him.
He's hurt.
Yep, look at him. Illusion, but Judge Jefferson's pretty good. I don't know. Can't play on the outside though. Time's yours. You know what I mean? 100 catches, never one on the outside. Never in the history of his 100 catches last year was one not on the outside. Can't play the outside this level. Can't play the outside. We just don't want guys who catch 100 balls. We'll just pass on them. Not good enough. But not the Jalen's raw. He's raw. Davion Taylor, third round pick. I hear fucking Jabron say he's raw. 2 years of football. Then you don't draft him. In the third
round at least.
Fifth round pick then. Project talk. So we're projecting rounds 2 and 3. I can't. I just can't. I can't. Because it all started with Chrome. I love to death. And we agree on the whole situation, but telling me that I can't say that, I feel a little bit bad for the dude. That is just it's ridiculous. So you tell me how the conversation went with his wife. If everybody thinks it was just kumbaya, right? Everybody tell me it was kumbaya. Now you got to go to work. Now the flip side is now go to work and prove wrong.
Pulling Aaron Rodgers, drop it on everybody for a season.
He's done the opposite, Greg. He's done the opposite, which is concerning.
Yes.
That's what's concerning to me. So I can say all that with saying I'm freaking concerned because I thought his mental toughness would be stronger than this by now. Not saying I like the pick, right? I'm just making the point. That's what concerns me. And I think all of us. So that's how you look over your shoulder, Chrome, and then still be able to mentally say, screw it, let's go to work. But again, they've done him they've done no favors this year. What favors have they done their quarterback on the outside? What favors have they done with their quarterback in the running back department outside of Miles Sanders? And Miles is getting, how many touches he gets. So it's all a circle, and then your quarterback not playing good. So you can't say last year he carried them, and then me say this year, well, there's nothing around them. No, you gotta do what you did last year. You gotta go find it. You gotta do what you did last year. Simplify, go find. Simplify, go find. Right? Am I missing anything with this whole conversation in a full circle around? To be totally like, you got to figure it the hell out. But it's also the organization's a bunch of jerk-offs. Does anybody like big time disagree with that? You guys?
No, I apologize.
Not at all.
I was just going. I
didn't know where we were going with that, so I kind of just bowed out. I mean, not I just felt like you were, it was just you and Chrome talking, which was good. I mean, you were kind of just get after them. You know what I mean? I hear you. No, I didn't mean that. I wasn't to disrespect you. I'm just saying, like, to me, I'm with you. So I don't really.
No. Yeah, I didn't hear any rebuttal, so I wasn't sure if guys were waiting to hammer or waiting to play out. All right, so no second round quarterbacks here then. We're not. You guys aren't drafting one on me. Okay, we're back. We're good. All right. No, I was going at it, but I just, I was getting like we all give each other some breathers here. So we're 2 in, and that was my breather to you guys. I'll just go to work. Or earn my paycheck. Earn my paycheck, unlike my football team. I just went and earned it. I don't even know what the hell I said.
Sure. Like I said, it's just, to me, it's at nauseam. The whole Wentz thing is at nauseam to me. You know what I mean? Like, I understand he's the franchise guy, and like I said, we're pulling for the guy, and hopefully, he's not going to be complete horseshit anymore. I don't know. I just done talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's been absolute horseshit. So where do we go from here? You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to keep talking about mental things or, what's going on in his personal life. Like, fucking go out and ball out. You know what I mean? Like, Doug, you got to be better. Doug, you've been horseshit. Carson, you've been horseshit. Team's been horseshit. There's a couple bright spots in 3 weeks. And, if that's what you care about, not you, like if that's what that person, whoever the bright spots are, if those people care about that when you're 0-2-1, then you don't want those guys in the boat with you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So even if anybody is playing well, they shouldn't give a shit because they're 0-2-1. All right. So that's where I have more concerns that I don't really, need to, just keep coming back to Wentz and all this other stuff. It's like, hey man, you gotta figure it out, pal. You know what I mean? Like, it's no more,
Yeah,
no more training wheel talk. You know what I mean? There's no training wheel.
Shut up.
Take the training wheels off. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Losing Goddard will force Eagles out of 12 personnel and into 11 personnel more. That's a major change of scheme. Yeah, I mean, losing weapons constantly doesn't help you. You know what I mean? Not trying to make excuse doesn't help you. Losing Goddard and Jackson. I mean, it's not the way you want to go into it expecting that to happen, but here we are. So it is what it is. So
the one guy you expect. I mean, I don't even consider Jackson like on the team. Like, I feel
me
like, I don't even know like if you can.
I thought it was all a lie anyway. Like he's really
2 years he's collecting a paycheck. But
I thought he had gang charges a couple years back. Where are they? I thought he went away. I thought he was never coming. I never felt like he was ever back after that. Like,
can you hire Chip back? Hey, Chip, is this thing on? Chip, you want a job? Chip, we're going to have to hire you for a day just to get rid of Deshaun. All right, thanks.
Nobody's running you down. Uncle Sensitivity, would you stop? Nobody's running you down. All right, we'll talk Thursday night about it. All right, fine. I'll be there. And I'll make you maybe understand where I'm coming from because I don't understand where I'm coming from right now either. So I felt good. I mean, I felt right. I mean, I love the family to tell me. I feel like I was on cruise control there, just at 85, on 295. Just boom, let me hit the button for a minute. We're clear sailing. Yeah,
just cruising like the bus in speed.
It's been a hell, it's been a hell of a month with the views and stuff. And now everybody's looking to come on every opportunity they get. Any opportunity. Any opportunity. Oh, man, I'd be happy to come on. Yeah. See me.
Yeah.
Eagles post game. Hey, get that mug on there. Get that mug on there, Chrome.
Just remember, Chrome, I did a lot of shows through the quarantine when there was nothing to do. I was on every day. When things weren't even blowing up. Just remember, never forget. We see you. So does Howie. See? Okay.
I don't even think Howie sees anymore.
Binoculars will give him the benefit of the doubt that he still sees it. You know what I mean? Can get himself to the bathroom, etc. So we all agreed to the poll real quick. And we'll do this one quick. And then, listen, we'll just go right to Crumb in a week, Unless you guys got things to talk about Phillies wise.
I'm just gonna say one thing about the Phillies. Little cherry on top of this Sunday of the Phillies needing to win one game this weekend against a team that already locked the division
not
up.
the crumb of the week yet, Will.
Couldn't do it.
How did you know that was going to be my crumb? Go ahead.
Is that going to be your crumb? I'm
no,
sorry.
Listen,
One thing I want to say about the Phillies is the hardest thing about missing the playoffs by one game is trying to pick out which horrendous collapse of a loss was the worst one during this
or you just go
game fucking season.
You lost 7 of 8 of Wheeler and Nola's last 8 starts.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Nola had a 70 already in his last 4 starts.
Yeah.
Now he's saying guys. So now we're gonna have to revisit it again because I thought it was just you and Tom. Like what do we miss? What are the other 3 guys?
What are we missing?
What are we missing? I don't please plug this guy and let him come on. All right, because at this point,
no.
I don't know. I thought it was just a Tom and Chrome thing, which is fine. We were happy to watch the Packers game on our phones and
I don't know. I feel a little bit that I'm in the same corner as Chrome here. Like I'm an issue from Uncle Sweeps and the crew here. I feel like you know what I mean?
No offense.
I just kind of lost where you were.
I don't even think we thought 5 seconds of that. You know what I mean? Like, with all due respect, maybe I've zoned out for the last 10 minutes, but
I've been thinking about Doug fucking punting with 20 seconds left in the tie fucking game.
What's the big picture? So maybe I did.
That has to go down as the biggest pussy move in the history of or at least the biggest pussy move of the year, and it's been a fucked up year.
Go back to the cliff notes. Sorry, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth, because I wasn't paying attention. So I apologize to both of you guys, and respectfully. All right, so what's the cliff notes? What's the big picture, real quick? What's Chrome's big picture?
I don't know.
Okay, that's because we're missing it. So I zoned out, Chrome. So if these guys don't know Christ, then
I just went on a rant. I don't know what it was about. I just said I can't feel bad. Like, God forbid I said I felt bad, even though the dude needs to play fucking better. I don't know what's wrong with
him. I remember that's how it started. Yeah.
So I don't know where it went even further. Like, now I'm an issue, and now you guys don't see big picture. I just thought that you guys just were like, yeah. I don't know why he can't have both. You know what I mean? Like, why can't you have both, Tom? And just we're watching the game and letting me yell and scream. That's all I thought. It makes me feel like that you guys are involved. You know what I mean? In some fashion. So now I'm all confused anymore. So let's just move away from it. Bro, you're clueless. No, I'm just kidding. Now he's gonna get all upset over clueless. But listen, we can talk about it. I love you, and we'll talk about it more. And maybe when you verbally say what you're saying, maybe it'll be more understood. I'm a verbal guy. I'm a verbal cat. You know what I mean? I'm not the big fan of the type. So you never know what guys are saying. I felt like I knew what you were saying, but I digress. And that's that. So Phillies, like Wilson was saying.
Joshua Bird, I don't think they ever came into the zone, though, but they didn't show that.
The other side of that.
They didn't show that down the line. You're right.
Why would they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would they make it controversial?
But he definitely jumped. So, there's no question that Pryor jumped.
Look at Wells.
Well, the field is set. If you want to just, I can rip through that for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Because now there's no more, because there were thoughts of, possibly the Cardinals having to play the 2 games tomorrow against the Tigers, but that obviously doesn't happen.
Hold on 1 second. Second. Gongos, the poll question was, Doug should have attempted the 64-yard field goal. Go ahead, Sweeps.
Yeah, no, you got it, buddy. So the silver lining, the other silver lining for the Phillies is the Giants didn't make it. So,
all right, at least we got that going for us.
But it's Dodgers 1-8, Dodgers Brewers 4-5, Padres Cardinals 3-6, Cubbies Marlins, and a 2-7 tough matchup. Braves Reds on that side. You got a 1-8 Rays.
The Reds can pitch it, which is scary in their 3-game series.
They got 2 horses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's scary. Rays and Blue Jays 1-8 on the other side. 4-5 Indians Yankees. 3-6 Twins Astros minus the trash cans, and 2-7 A's White Sox. Gavin, yeah, that's sometimes it happens every week. Anything past 2 hours, we usually lose the big fella.
That's what goes on.
So I think it's shortened. I guess like I said, this year's been so wild. I think it's like best of 3 or something. I think
3-game series. Yeah,
that first one, right? Is it the first one? Or?
Yeah. The best of 3 at the home park.
Yeah. So that's that makes it pretty interesting. But I still pretty much see. I don't know though. I mean, I still see the chalk. Pretty much chalk all the way until except for the A's White Sox. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love what the A's do, and I'm a big fan of the A's. You know what I mean? We talked about Chapman being a monster loss for them, but the White Sox just seem to be rolling. They're
playing well.
Yeah, they had a rough week, but overall had a good season. See what Giolito and Keuchel can give them. But the lineup's loaded. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that one as a semi underdog.
Yeah, I think the Braves get freed back, right?
Huh?
Braves get freed back, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but that's another one. That 2-7 is interesting as well. I still like the Braves, but the Reds are, nobody kind of really wanted any parts of the Reds. You know what I mean?
Yep. They were that trendy pick early in the year because they could pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they had those 2 horses up front.
Yeah.
And they actually delivered.
But I see the Twins obviously taking care of business, obviously, and the Rays, even though the Blue Jays got a nice lineup and they. I see them taking care of business. The 4-5s are a little intriguing.
They killed us, but that's not saying much. Everybody kills us. Talk about Blue Jays.
The 4-5s are a little intriguing. You know what I mean? In the sense where because you got Bieber, you should be the Cy Young. You know what I mean? So in a 3-game series, Indians Yankees, if Bieber grabs that one, you only got to steal another one. You know what I mean? So that seems
Justin.
Yeah,
and Ryan, we absolutely agree with you, Ryan. But too bad right now. The season's over, so the ball's in JT's court. Like he's got to have to come back now, because someone else is going to give him more money or more years or willing to do it, right? So the best chance you had for JT is why he was here. Now that you let that happen, the ball's in his court.
Oh, absolutely. And but now
if you're going to try and sell me on Marchand and Knapp, I'm out. I'm out on you now too.
Yeah,
but already getting ready to be out in the Sixers when you try and sell me on D'Antoni.
No, you're right, Greg. But the one thing I'll say about the DH is that allows me to give more years than I would want to. That allows me to give 10 years. So there's no reason now with the DH that you shouldn't be giving out. You shouldn't be matching anybody's years or giving more money. Matching years, giving more money. Matching years, giving more money. I mean, it's a fucking joke if that doesn't happen. And then it's an indictment, and this guy gets fired, and then it's a start over bullshit. And I want the guy fired, but I just then you gave away 2 guys who can play at the major league level, which is what you don't want to do for a guy you don't even have. So now it compounds it and makes it look worse, even though everybody makes a trade. It's disgusting. That's even a conversation. You know what I mean? There's no conversation of this guy getting inked up. It's like the Jimmy Butler deal. You got to get him inked up. You gave up assets. You give up assets, you ink. That's how it works. You don't rental. You're not that good. You know what I mean? You're not that good for rental talk. You might have thought you were, and if you did, you're a jackass, which we already know.
Right.
So, there's that.
Those 2 productive seasons with JT, how'd they work out for us? Where was the production outside of JT? We all knew JT was the best catcher in baseball. We loved seeing him up front for 2 years. But to sit there straight face and said, "Oh, we made that deal for those 2 productive years of control," then you made the wrong deal, bro.
Yeah, it shouldn't have came down to the 11th hour. You know what I mean? That's all we're saying. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have came down to the 11th hour. You know what I mean? Because if you knew this up front, if you knew this 2 years ago and you took your shot, or at least like you said, even a year ago, if you took your shot a year ago, and whatever, they just didn't, it didn't pan out, then you could then you go ahead and roll them over at the trade deadline. You go get now you continue to try to get some assets back before you let a guy walk out the door. You know what I mean? If you knew, once you take it, 2 years ago when you got him, you tried to, if you didn't do a sign and trade to begin with, which is silly to me. You should always, when you're giving up, big pieces like that, the guy coming over should be a sign and trade. You know what I mean? It should be a handshake or it should be a done deal. You know what I mean? But when it isn't, you know what I mean, then you got to get to that. You got to get on it that first year. You know what I mean? Because when you let it fester and you let it get to the 11th hour, this is when it's like, well, now I want to test free agency, and then JT has all the cards. You know what I mean? The Phillies have no hand. They have no hand here. You know what I mean? Where they
have a shit staff to work with. So why would he want to come back here?
No, I know.
In year one, you can sell it early on when he first gets here. It's all peaches and cream. He's here with Harper. It's all peaches and cream. You can get that deal done quick. The fact that, like Sleep said, you let it get this far is why it's up in the air getting the deal done.
Yeah. And now you have Harper on his Instagram saying, "Was a pleasure." Like, don't do this to me, Bryce. Don't do this to me.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's where the 60 game, like I said, so it was like, that's where this year it was dangerous in the sense where, we were obviously all happy to see baseball and we were jacked about it. We wanted sports, you know what I mean? But that 60 game thing gave a lot of false hope, you know what I mean? Like you guys alluded to earlier, you didn't want to go through that if it was 162 games, to watch this team and watch that bullpen, you know what I mean? Well, that's where you could sell earlier, you know what I mean? Where 60 games, it was like, Clint thinks, 8 teams make the playoffs. I have no idea how they didn't make the playoffs, but 8 teams make the playoffs. And he's thinking, well, if at least I make the playoffs, I can keep my job or whatever, instead of just think, it gives teams false hope, you know what I mean? Where you could have rolled him over to maybe say the Yankees, who are, probably at the end of their rope with Sanchez, you know what I mean? Where, JT might sign there, put that bad mojo out there, but you might sign there anyway, you know what I mean? Where you can, maybe you get back a Frazier and you get back, an arm or two, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? Where a 3-for-1 where that would have, they would have did that this year, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. And hell, even just taking Sanchez back, you know what I mean? Like, give me Sanchez and Frazier at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, anybody where you can keep rolling. Yeah, I know. No, you're right.
Just because you got to restock that position. You can't sit there straight face and think that Andrew Knapp and Rafael Marchand are going to split time and be there. I mean, first of all, they're both lefties, so that's an asinine reasoning, in theory. But Andrew Knapp gets exposed offensively 160 games or 130 games or 100 games. Yeah. He's just not good enough offensively.
Yeah, he looked to be turning the corner a little bit, but not, I mean, like I said, yeah, you're not, you don't expect him to be an everyday catcher, so.
No, spotter. You know what I mean? It's a spot piece. Go with the
perfect.
Go with the rotation. Mm-hmm. Go with the staff, and come catch 30 games for you. Now
exactly.
Maybe catch a 50 spot for you because you got the DH and you can give days off, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Or like I said, if you got pieces back, you know what I mean? The worst thing that's possible is to have them walk out the door and you're standing there, with your dick in your hand. You know what I mean? That's the worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Because if you can got some pieces back, if you get 4 guys back, and two of them were stud arms. You can live with Knapp having to play and, having those 2 guys platoon for now, you know what I mean, for a season till you figured something else out, you know what I mean? Like, but, to get nothing out of it, it's going to be an absolute killer, especially when one guy looks to be, just a young electric arm that, come on, you know what I mean? It's just.
So real quick, we'll do this real fast, even though, we'll be able to talk about it more as it goes on. But early World Series, 2 early World Series representatives.
I might be. I don't know. I might lean to the 2-1 seeds. I mean, obviously the Dodgers. That's it is what it is. I hope they have their normal postseason shit to bed,
collapse.
I despise the Dodgers, you know what I mean? But just watching them, I mean, not just from pillar to post. I mean, they're loaded everywhere. Their only weakness is probably Kenley Jansen. All right, he got old quick, and he's just not there anymore. He's around 90, 91. You know what I mean? And the cutter isn't what it used to be. So. He'll still find a way, but they got other pieces back there. They still got a Jake McGee, and they still got, some guys back there to throw 1,000 miles an hour. So they'll figure it out. But if they have, the one Achilles heel is Kenley on the back end, you know what I mean? And Bellinger didn't have a typical tremendous year. A lot of stars had down years, you know what I mean?
Right.
they just got so many pieces. I mean, they got a kid Rios just getting some time at third. You know, when Turner's out, and he's got 8 or 9 homers. You know, he's homered in like 5 straight games. You know,
what's it like to have a farm?
That's what I'm saying. They got enough. Do they have enough? I mean, you know, Muncie's had a horrible year, and it's crazy. You know, Will Smith is an absolute. You know, it looks like a phenomenal young catcher, which we already knew. I mean, he took the next step offensively. You know, so. And then you go ahead and get one of the top 3 players in baseball. You make you fleece the Red Sox and you add that guy to your team, and then you see what happens. You know, you see what happens. You know, so they just they're fully loaded, and you're just hoping that they have their typical playoff Dodger performance, which I love to see. You know what I mean? But and for me, the Rays have just done it all year. You know what I mean? And that. In that division, which is always good. Obviously, you take away the Orioles, and obviously the Red Sox stunk. You know what I mean? But 3 good teams in it this year, and they just ran away. They ran away with it. They beat up the Yankees every time they played them. So they just do all the little things, and they just have they're well coached, and it seems like every button that guy pushes. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I said to Greg, they got 4 outfielders. I never seen anything like this. They put 4 outfielders against the Phillies.
And it works.
Yeah, and JT hit one to right center.
Yep.
I'm like, come on. You got a horseshoe. You literally got a horseshoe welded up your ass. You know what I mean? So
couldn't have hit it better right at him. Couldn't have put it in the glove. Like you just went and put it. There you go. This works. No, I like them 2 picks. I really do. Greg, I mean, it's not hard to dislike them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm just going to go somewhere different. Not that I don't disagree with sweeps, you know what I mean? Because it's tough to go against probably the 2 best teams in baseball. I'm going to go Braves though. I like that lineup. I mean, you have just 3-4 guys with 50 plus RBIs. You know what I mean? The lineup just mashes, and I know they're going to miss Soroka, but I'm hoping that that the lineup picks up for that. And, they obviously didn't miss them at all during the year. I mean, I'm sure they missed them, but they still played well. So I'm going to go Braves, and I'm going to go Twins. I'm going to go Twins in the American League.
I was thinking about the Twins too. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
You just look at their, they're facing the non-trash can Astros, and then, the White Sox who are hot or were hot, right? And then the A's who are missing Chapman. I just think that's a really easy way to get to the ALCS at least. Get some confidence, get to playing good baseball again, and then take their chances against most likely to Reds.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees will bludgeon you to death. You know what I mean? I just, their staff doesn't impress me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they'll bludgeon you. But yeah.
Yeah, not leaving many options over in the American League now. But my national, I'm going to go with San Diego. They played extremely
Fuck
good.
You, Tom.
And total Philly thing. Machado gets there before Harper does. It's more of a Philly stab, I guess you could say. But no,
that's locked it down. I totally completely blanked on that relation. Lock it up. You're good. That's it.
Stamp it in. And they're a damn good baseball team. And a winner Eric Hosmer in there, leader, and what Fernando Tatis has done there, they just won games. They just win games, and they find ways to get it done. And I got to believe that maybe when they see the Dodgers, we get a Dodgers collapse, right? I mean, so they played them enough. They know each other, and then hopefully that favors maybe San Diego in that matchup. Now over in the American League, I don't want to stay out on the West Coast and take Oakland because they just never get there, right? So, I mean,
you better hope San Diego gets out of that first round.
I don't want to take the Yanks took because Wills took the Yanks. So, I want to count his pick in here. Oh, give me Cleveland.
Carlos Santana gets to the dance.
Yeah, we'll do that. Santana and Machado. How's that? That's but no, I mean, I'm just trying to take a team.
Like I said, Bieber's been that good. You know what I mean? So, if Bieber goes and does Bieber things, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you got 2 shots at it, to get past the Yankees. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And one of the best players in baseball. So, you always take that into account or hope when you're trying to make like a sleeper pick too. Like I'm trying to do a little sleeperish. Not San Diego isn't one. San Diego I was taking anyway. I'm just thankful nobody took them. But I'm right with sweeps. So I'm like Tampa, because they find ways to get it done too. Like Tampa, San Diego doesn't do any favors for Major League Baseball, right? Like there's zero favors for ratings, but in terms of in terms of teams, like two teams that's found ways to get it done. Might not be as loaded all over the board like other teams, but they just win games. Just win games. Oakland's another one though, because Oakland always win games. Like I'm better off taking the whole West Coast side and just going to Oakland and San Diego, really, because I have more faith in Oakland than I do in Cleveland. But I don't know. I like Cleveland, so I'll stick with them.
Yeah, I know. I'm a sneaky East fan too. You know what I mean? I just was looking at it from like that's why the whole seeding thing's weird because it's not really an upset. You know what I mean? Like. The fact that obviously, the Dodgers are, they were the best team in baseball, period. You know what I mean? The Rays, just because it's 2-1s, I looked at myself like, well, I feel like I'm picking 2-1s here. What am I doing? You know what I mean? But really, that's just a way that this year played out. You know what I mean? Like, really, the Yankees are the Yankees and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. You know what I mean? They were coming into it, the two best teams in baseball, on paper. And, that's the way, that's, the two mega powers are supposed to meet. You know what I mean? The two favorites, if you want to put it that way. You know what I mean? Yanks just fell to 5 somehow. You know what I mean? In the seeding wise. You know what I mean?
Crumbs. Yep. First round exit. I heard you see that. I think you're saying don't sleep on the Cardinals. I know Sweeps and Chrome love that one.
Yeah, their lineup stinks, but the Padres pitching. The only good thing is the Padres pitching doesn't impress me. You know what I mean? So,
especially if Lamont isn't able to go.
No, you run out. Flaherty and Waino and Kim. I'll take my chances with those guys. But I don't think the Cardinals hit enough, and like Tommy said, it's just one of those magical years for the Padres, and it's a good baseball team. But yeah, they're pitching definitely don't scare me, and they're inexperienced. Obviously, when it comes to playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. You know what I mean?
Spidey, don't you do this to me?
Yeah, Spidey, look at you. Spidey says Rays Marlins. Yeah, that does no favors to you. Yeah,
7%. I got like 7% on here too, so I might have to scatter too.
Yeah, you boys just want to crumb it, or we can just wrap
it. Yeah, whatever. I just says 7%, whatever that means. So. Laptop saying 7%, blinking
on its way down. I'll just get mine out of the way. We'll run through them real fast. Listen, I know we're circling back, but you don't go for it or you don't attempt a field goal. Will mind boggle me for the rest of the season, but also sums up 2020 more than anything of 2020 so far. It's just another bow on 2020. Like you want to see 2020? Hey, we're gonna play for a tie. You know what I mean? Like what? Who are you? Where did my coach go? And that's my crumb of the week. And I never thought Doug Pederson would get into the crumb of the week category, but you play for a tie, crumb. That's all I got. I said it earlier.
I agree with you, buddy. For me, it's like I said, it's the whole Phillies organization. You know what I mean? So, from 60 games on, you know what I mean? Like, it's everybody gets blamed on this. We know Clintex at the top, and he's the guy that needs to go. He, should be pink slip Monday tomorrow for him. You know what I mean? He's an absolute disaster what he put together on the back end, and whoever else was making decisions and saying, hey, listen, we'll take these guys. We don't want veterans. We don't want to go over the luxury tax or whatever. So just as an organization, crumb of the year. Maybe, or at least crumb of the last 2 months. You know what I mean? Because just that's a terrible 60-game performance. 8 teams make the playoffs. You're not one of them. Under 500 again, and then the lack of effort this weekend was a disgrace. All right, when you have a chance to control your destiny a little bit, I understand. I just picked the Rays to get to the World Series, so we know the Rays are good. All right, but they clinched. You know what I mean? And it's not that they were sitting guys. You know what I mean? But you don't get any. And you get shut out today with Aaron Nola shows up with that performance, and you don't get any runs. All right, and when you had a chance to control your destiny, you were lucky to get to today. Where if you got some help, you had a chance to play your way in. You got the help, and you got
you get the help.
Get shut out, all right, and that's the effort you get out of Aaron Nola. And it was just, like I said, it was just one of those years where, nobody is impervious to this blame. You know what I mean? This is it's a pillar to pillar, from the top guy to the bottom to the last guy on the roster. Everybody was horseshit at some point or another. You know what I mean? Nobody was escaping it. You know what I mean? Like you said, if you're going to go one bright spot, it's the Bowmanator. You know what I mean? Like, he should be the rookie of the year. All right. I don't give a shit about it's. I don't want to hear about Croninator or whatever the hell his name is. You know what I mean? That guy plummeted in September, right? When Bomer went this way, and he did everything in his power to try to carry this team. You know what I mean? Like, the power numbers will be there. Only 4 homers, but young Buck hit like about 330, maybe 335. With almost 30 ribbies, play better on defense, and he should be. If you're not going to give it to the Brewers reliever, the Williams guy, then it should be Bominator. You know what I mean? Tip my cap to the kid. Great effort out of you, Bomber.
Yep. Sure. If you can play, you can play, right? We always say,
yep.
If you can play, you'll come up and be able to play. Greg, Crumb?
Don, you're
Don, you're not wrong.
Again. I'm gonna piggyback on Sweep, but I'll dial. I was gonna go same thing, but I'll dial it down to 2. Matt Klentak. When you can't sit there straight face and said you made this deal for 2 years of JT Realmuto, and that we had 2 productive seasons with him. Where was the production? Outside of him personally, where was the production? Because we got 0 playoff wins and we got 0 playoff appearances. And we had 2, again, September collapses. Again, today's effort, this weekend's effort. You win 1 game this weekend, you're in the playoffs. Or at least you're in a play-in game. Or no, we're in the playoffs, right? Because the other 2 lost. We would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're looking at 4 starts this week. You got 4 starts, 2 from Nola, 2 from Wheeler, and you might have lost them all, right? Or did you win one of the Wheelers? I know
Well, they lost 7 of their last 8. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your last 8 of Wheeler and Nola starts.
This weekend, and Nola's last outing was good too. So I just think if they had won the 1 Wheeler start this week, but I don't think they did. I think they lost your 2 Mooses, and you went 0-4 in the games they started. Come on.
And then you showed up and played shit this weekend when you needed to.
Absolutely.
And then my other one on the Phillies is Brandon Workman. Not only were you just absolutely hard here, right? And that's one thing if you're just not good. But you got asked a question in the presser, and he was like, they asked, what is your confidence level? After not being able to do it so often, is your confidence level there? No, my confidence level hasn't dropped. I can make every pitch. Well, then will you please make every damn pitch? Will you please actually pitch like you have confidence in yourself instead of spiking curveballs at 50 feet? We're going to get them worms, get them helmets on those worms. There's, that bullpen, but that Brandon, when I heard that, I was like, is this guy serious right now? Now, granted, press conference, you don't want to say, yeah, my confidence is shaken, but don't sit there and, again, compound it and say, no, I'm confident my stuff's there, it's working. It obviously isn't working, bro.
Yeah, might want to rethink that. I love trying to have confidence in yourself, but yeah, I mean, dude, you couldn't make it up. We said it when the season started that this offense was a playoff offense. We thought the starting rotation was a playoff rotation, or could be, but our biggest concern was the bullpen. We didn't know guys. We didn't know who the hell some of these guys were. And when we all can sit here and say, what the hell's going on there? And then it becomes that big of an issue throughout this entire year. That's what's amazing. Yeah. We can talk about some bad starts from Noah or Wheeler at times, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, it's so glaring, and that's a shame. That's a shame. Like, everything else was playoff worthy. Even I know it's expanded, but just to get in the dance, everything else was playoff worthy, and you roll that out. Mm-hmm. That's what's sad. Yeah. Really,
you're absolutely right. You knew it from Jump Street. You knew it from Jump Street.
Yeah, what was it? 28-32 from a team that went 10-1 at one point. You know what I mean? They had a stretch where they were won 10 out of 11. You know what I mean? So just think about how bad the rest of the area. You know what I mean? Like, how everything else went, how bad they were, like you said, this week.
Yeah.
And other stretches too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 1 game this week and they're in. It's pathetic.
Yeah, it really is.
Speechless.
No, yeah, like I said.
Like the Eagles. You just start running in circles about it because you don't. It's just like unreal. There's so. Yeah. It's just. Yeah. Oh, but listen, boys, great show. like always. And we'll thank our doc, make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Everybody out there joining us, thank you. Like, subscribe, follow. We love all the comments. Helps drive the show. So, listen.
Yeah, thanks all.
Back to the drawing board, right? Trip out west, see what you're made of. See, reach down, see if your beanbag's there.
Yep, and Brace is going to tell you tomorrow that it's okay that they settled for the tie on the Sports Sound. So enjoy that and enjoy all the rest of the shows here on A2D Radio. Shows every night. So like, subscribe, follow, please. For Tom Arnona, Nick DelGozzo, Greg Milakovic, Brian Wilson, whose phone died, and everybody out there, we love you. Philly sports. Right.